Race number 2 in 2021 for the ARCA Menards Series is in the desert. We are at Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona for the General Tire 150. And over the course of the last couple of hours, you see the cactus there up along Rattlesnake Hill, but we've been dancing between the raindrops here. Mother Nature, not all too kind to us, washed out qualifying for the ARCA Menards Series just a little while ago. Scattered showers in the area, but we're hoping to go green for 150 laps here tonight at Phoenix Raceway. Hello, everybody. I am Bob Diller. Alongside of me once again in 2021 on MAV TV is Jim Trado. And Jim, the reason why we're all excited about this race is because we have 30 cars here for the ARCA Menards Series.
This kicks off the ARCA Menards Series West season, and I'm telling you, these guys are loaded for bear, and these gals, they've been out there testing. They've been out getting laps in. And we are going to see a stellar field of 30 cars roll here in the General Tire 150. I can't wait. There's been a lot of practice times put down, but we don't know exactly what that equates to race speeds because we thought we had qualifying in there. That got washed out.
The youth movement alive and well coming into this series. Already one race in the books at Daytona a month ago. But let's take a look at some of the headlines coming into race number 2 here in Phoenix, Arizona. Corey Heim, the big winner at Daytona. That win at Kansas at the end of last season really propelled him, and now he has a lot of motivation and momentum on his side. He's the points leader coming into this one, but he's not the only guy with a lot of momentum coming into this season.
October 4th last year, Ty Gibbs turned 18. You know what that means? That young driver who already has 8 wins in the ARCA Menards Series can race the entire schedule. Ty Gibbs is certainly one of the championship favorites. He's running the entire schedule and 15 Xfinity races. He's already won one of those this year.
A lot of people point to Ty Gibbs as the odds-on favorite to capture the championship this year in the ARCA Menards Series. Those 6 wins last year. He was just ultra tough in that Joe Gibbs Racing number 18. But here at Phoenix, teen spirit alive and well. 11 total teenagers in the starting lineup. That's pretty impressive and shows you that the future is bright for NASCAR.
ARCA Menards Series West champion last year, finally turned 16 in January. And I tell you what, there are really, really experienced drivers here at that young age trying to prove it here on the big track for the first time.
And then not only do we have a little teen flavor, but some West Coast flavor as well. You have a lot of people from the West Coast, being that this is a combination race between the ARCA Menards Series and the ARCA Menards West Series, led by Jesse Love, who you just mentioned. But there are a lot of people, including 12 drivers from California, going for gold here tonight.
And I'm looking forward to seeing all of them go after it because there's been a ARCA Menards Series West race here last November. We raced here for the first time as an ARCA Menards Series back in March, and some of those teams even dabbled the year prior, like Ty Gibbs in November of 19, so they were getting their notes built up as well.
Well, let's hear from one of the heroes right now. Dave Reeve is the 3rd member of our broadcast team this year on MAV TV, standing by with Corey Heim.
Well, there is no doubt that the 18-year-old out of Marietta, Georgia, is the hottest thing going in the ARCA Menards garage, especially with that season clinching finale at Kansas, getting the victory again at Daytona, and already starting to think about that finish line here later today. Corey, one time you were the hunter, but suddenly you have become the hunted. What is that feeling like?
Yeah, it feels definitely good to start clicking off those wins in the series. It's I'm 3 years deep now, and I've struggled a little bit in my first year, but I think we've come to our own, and this JBL Camry has been really good this year so far, even though we're only 1 race in. I'm really confident throughout the year that we're going to have a really good car to beat.
You're in the car. Chandler Smith won this race in last year. We talked a lot about Ty Gibbs. What is it about you guys, the youngsters, and your ability to adapt? How do you do it so easily?
Yeah, I think just being a part of Team Toyota is a really big deal, and Veterinary Motorsports as well. Veterinary has had a long history of success at every racetrack, and obviously they won, like you said, at this racetrack too last year. So, hopefully we can go back to back here, and I think we got a good shot.
How about a whole month to celebrate Daytona, the trophy that sits in your house now? What has the last 4 weeks been like in your world?
Yeah, it's been really surreal, honestly. To dream about winning Daytona as a kid and finally get it done when I'm, 18 years old and, be a part of this Menards Motorsports Team Toyota group. It's a really big deal for me, and it's really sunk in pretty well. Had a good month, as you mentioned, to kind of think about it and, review it. So to come back to Phoenix here, trying to go back to back.
Let's face it, though, Daytona, that was yesterday's news. Ready to make a new headline right here in the desert.
Corey Heim going to be tough to beat in that Venturini Motorsports car. And this place, Phoenix, is beautiful. Mountains surrounding this racetrack right here in the Valley of the Sun. And there you see some of the track drying continuing here at Phoenix Raceway. Earlier today, they did have a practice session, and that was a good thing because General Tire qualifying was washed out today for the ARCA Menards Series. And because of that, the General Tire Pole Award goes to the fastest driver in practice earlier today.
So for Ty Gibbs, winning practice means something. He won't get the General Tire cash allotment, but he'll be awarded the pole position on practice speeds today. All 30 cars got on the racetrack. We'll line them up on the fastest practice speeds run, and Ty Gibbs set the pace in practice to earn that General Tire pole.
New sponsor for Ty Gibbs in this race, Christine Auction, and he will try to fly those colors to victory lane tonight in the desert. We are waiting to see when we will be going green tonight under a little bit of a moisture delay here at Phoenix Raceway, but we have 150 laps of battle for the ARCA Menards Series live on MAV TV. Welcome back to Phoenix, the General Tire 150 under a little bit of a delay right now. We're looking to get the command just shortly before the top of the hour, but we are happy that you are joining us tonight live on MAV TV. And look at that majestic shot right there. The sun setting over the mountain, and there's the city of Phoenix just a little ways down the road here from Phoenix Raceway. There you see the track drying efforts ongoing right now. This is the second race of the season. That first race on the big stage of Daytona just about a month ago, and that one was wild. Let's take a look at all the racing action. Jim, you were there. You saw what transpired at the big track of Daytona.
Once again, the season started at Daytona. Venturini Motorsports, the top two qualifying spots. But then it became a race to see who can race with Corey Heim in that white number 20 JBL Toyota. We see the fender damage on Drew Dollar's white and green number 15. That may have hampered his effort to challenge for the win, but they finished 1-2 to start a season for Venturini's again back in victory lane at Daytona.
A dream come true for Corey Heim. His rival for the championship, Ty Gibbs, finished fourth in that race. He's now standing by with Dave Reef.
And if the monster shoes don't give it away, this itchy right pedal foot ready to get going should give it away. This is a kid that is ready to get this race going. You and I were talking a little while ago. Phoenix, it is at the top of your list. Why?
You know, Phoenix is a great facility. You know, it's one of my favorite tracks. You know, as a driver here, I feel like I'm just like, I've got a blank canvas in front of me and I'm just painting a picture of everything. And you got the mountains in the background and the cactuses. It's just like the whole thing. It's super cool. And I'm from the East Coast, so I don't get to see this that much, so that's why I'm so fascinated. But I'm very thankful to be here, and this is a great facility. Phoenix puts on a good show always.
Hey, last few visits, though, it hasn't been kind in the overall results. You've had a dominating race car, so are you racing with a little extra edge today, trying to get to that victory lane first?
Yeah, you know, I'm racing, I feel like every race, just to try to get the best finish I can for my team and my sponsor, and you know, I'm really excited to be here, and hopefully we can seal the deal off. This is the fourth time here. We've won our first time, and then we got third and second, and then so hopefully we can seal it off, and I hope everybody has a fun time watching tonight, and we can get this place dried up. I wouldn't think it would rain in the desert on a Friday night, but I guess that stuff happens, but so let's do it.
So it didn't happen for you in Daytona in the ARCA car, but in the Xfinity car on the road course. That had to be a heck of a lot harder. How'd you pull that off?
Yeah, man, it was you know, I had a great team behind me, and you know, none of that was me. That was the man above doing everything, and he paved my life out the way that he wanted to, and I'm very thankful for that. And you know, I can't thank him enough for everything he's done for me and my family and everybody. So we're gonna move on, and hopefully we can go win this thing.
He's got an itchy throttle foot, and he's got a paintbrush in his hand, hoping to paint this place green tonight.
Ty Gibbs, the 18-year-old, going for the victory tonight. He will lead the field to the green flag after Mother Nature washed out qualifying a little bit earlier on. In 2020, though, it was all about Ty Gibbs. That 18 just so dominant, Jim. 6 wins overall.
And what he did was amazing. He finished 5th in points in a partial schedule because of the dominance he had in leading all those laps and all those great finishes. sometimes he puzzled himself about how good that car was. Mark McFarland and Chris Bowen and those guys, they deserve a lot of the credit because they brought the car every week that he could run with, and he proved, give me a fast car and I'll get it done.
I love his charisma. Sometimes Ty Gibbs gets knocked, the grandson of Joe Gibbs. He's had everything handed to him, but he has fought hard to mature behind the wheel, and we saw that from where he started and then into the late models. He was okay in late models, not great, but when he jumped into a stock car, this kid has been nothing short of phenomenal.
And he's a student, not just because he's high school age, turning 18, but he really has gone on out of his way to make sure he knew what was going on in the shop. He has a simulator in the shop at the Xfinity Series garage where this team is housed at Joe Gibbs Racing. He also has a simulator at home. And when it came to the Daytona Road Course, friends of mine asked me, hey, who do you think is going to be good at this race? I said, Ty Gibbs. I said, what? And they said, why? I said, because he's such a student of what he does. And he's not ultra critical. Some kids get carried away with less than perfect. And we've seen Ty have mood swings by not winning and how much it cost. And especially here at Phoenix last year, he should have won the race after leading all those laps. But when it gets down to it, he knows the craft. He knows what he has at hand before he gets here. And Mark McFarland here on his left-hand side with the gray mask on, he has put a calming influence to Ty. Mark has delivered wherever he is as a driver and now a crew chief at this level. He's really got Ty in the setup where, like, Ty, what do you need? I'm going to give it to you. Now let's go and chase the checkers.
And like you said, to your point, I think Mark McFarland is part of the secret sauce to Ty Gibbs' success. He had competed in what was the NASCAR Nationwide Series, now Xfinity Series, but a former Pro Cup winner. He had run late model stock cars. Mark McFarland knows a lot about these cars from a mechanical standpoint, but also has been able to help Ty Gibbs behind the wheel.
And these cars are exactly what Ty needs right now. He went from late model stock racing into the ARCA Menards Series, no super late model racing, and that was by design. I talked to his dad, Coy, about that. He said, we need to get him in cars that we know he's going to race on weekends to come. And after that win at Daytona, by the way, he's going to get a whole lot more seat time in Joe Gibbs Racing Xfinity car this year, whether it was announced or planned otherwise. But he's up to 15 times now racing in that series. That's only going to help him when he races the full 20-race schedule here in the ARCA Menards Series this season.
Ironically, though, Ty Gibbs on the pole for this one. To his outside will be the man that won Daytona. Corey Heim, 1 and 2 in practice earlier today, and that's how they will line up for today's race here at Phoenix Raceway. High above Phoenix Raceway is the Lucas Oil Chopper, giving us some great shots of this 1 mile facility, restructured just a couple of years ago. I hadn't been here since 2014, Jim, so it was a big surprise, but they have done so much work to this racetrack.
I love this place. I've been here since the very first NASCAR Cup race in 1988, whether it be working for the track or hanging out with friends in the infield. I love everything about the track. I love the Copper World Classic and the history there about bringing youngsters like Jeff Gordon for his first ever Silver Crown race on pavement was here. All those opportunities, we've lived that now through the ARCA Menards Series and the chances they get in the West Series and the ARCA Menards Series to play here on such a great venue.
Whenever we have these broadcasts live on MAV TV, it's like a little party for us. So the entire Lucas Oil Production Studios team, yourself, me, Dave Reef, but now we have another member of our team for this particular race. And before we get to Austin Cindric from Team Penske, Jim, let's flash back to his last race in the ARCA Menards Series.
Familiar colors for that driver in 2017. Austin Cindric was leading the race in that bright neon yellow Menards car in the home state of Menards Incorporated. Led the race by a bunch, sat on the pole, and this is the last restart for the lead. Cole Custer gets into Austin Cindric and sends him around. They knocked themselves out of a chance to win the race. You see Custer way down on the grass, but was there room? We'll never know. But Cole Custer was the one we were riding along with to see Austin get spun out of what would be his final ARCA race opportunity for his second win.
So maybe I should say sorry, Austin, to show you that video. I'm sure it brought back some maybe not so pleasant memories.
Hey, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield, and that wasn't my day, but I've had some fun in some Menards Fords, obviously, here at Phoenix Raceway, so excited to see what these guys are up for tonight and see who's willing to move around, see who's willing to make moves tonight.
And Austin, you know more than anyone, as you made your transition, you knew you were going to race in NASCAR trucks. The ARCA Menards Series was a great place for you to come, and I want to say in those 6 of 8 races, you led laps. You had a really fast car, but you had to learn racecraft. How much is that playing into the minds of these 11 teenagers and 4 more kids that are 20 years of age, maybe their first shot at a track this size?
Absolutely. I can sympathize with a lot of the drivers on the grid tonight in this ARCA Menards race because I never did any late model racing. My first race in a stock car was at Iowa in ARCA Menards. So these are the types of cars that I learned quite a lot in a short amount of time. And this is a pretty big track for ARCA Menards West competition. So a lot of these guys are probably the fastest they've ever gone in a race car. So I'm excited to, like I said, excited to see who moves around and who figures this place out between us.
You're part of the Menards family. The Menards brand has been part of ARCA Racing now for 13 total years. How important is it for Menards to be part of a development series like this?
Well, it's great. You know, obviously Menards has been huge in a lot of forms of motorsports, and their support of the lower series, the grassroots drivers, is pretty cool to see. You know, and I think the fans respond to it really well, and obviously they use it with the brands in their stores. So I'm excited that they get to be part of this, and excited to be part of the broadcast tonight.
Nick Sanchez, one of the full-time competitors here. And then we have a couple of Bob Riccati cars here as well. We'll be talking about that throughout the night.
The ARCA Menards Series is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards.
Getting closer to going green racing here at Phoenix Raceway for the General Tire 150. Beautiful scenery around this racetrack. Qualifying washed out earlier today for the ARCA Menards Series. We're lined up by virtue of how the cars performed in practice today. The number 18 for Ty Gibbs will lead the field to the green flag, 150 laps, the total distance here today, Jim.
And we're going to have modified live pit stops, so when the teams do come to pit road, they're able to change tires and add fuel under any caution, and they won't lose their spot in relation to the other cars on the track. So that's something to play in the strategy. And we've had set lap markers now. This is a new element for both the ARCA Menards Series West and the ARCA Menards Series for pretty much the entire run from a year ago here at Phoenix. We've had this modified live pit stop where there's a designated lap or a window that we worked with. Now it's up to the teams to figure out what caution, when they happen, if they come to pit road or not.
The guy that's going to be keeping track of everything on pit road for us tonight live on MAV TV is Dave Reef. Dave?
That's a lot of pressure. Come on now. There are 30 cars. That's amazing. This is going to be exceptional. But I was talking with Jim Tradow. We were looking over the practice charts earlier today, and one thing that stuck out to us was the 5th quickest car throughout the 30, and it was this driver, the North Carolina runner, 19-year-old Gracie Trotter, driving the Venturini Toyota Camry. Had an opportunity to talk to her just a few moments ago before she strapped in the car, and she said she is loving everything about this racetrack. Does have some experience here, but with a crew chief like Kevin Reed calling the shots, Kevin brings an extra set of eyes and an extra set of confidence to her. Likewise, I talked to Kevin Reed about Gracie Trotter, and he says, wow, this girl is absolutely teachable. And the best part about it, he says, is she's raced in so many different disciplines. What she does is gets better each and every time. He said, yeah, a few mistakes possibly were made in Daytona, but guys, you know what Daytona's like. A mistake can happen in a split second. But in every lap of practice, and with all the changes that Kevin Reed, the man in the gray sweatshirt, made, Gracie Trotter has gotten better and better. She rolls off this grid tonight, Jim Tradow, in 5th. We're both impressed.
It's her. And Dave, this is her 3rd start already at this racetrack. So that's huge for that full-timer last year in the West Series to get this chance to race now in, I think, 10 races this year in the ARCA Menards Series with Kevin Reed.
Derek Kraus from the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and that number 19, he returns to Phoenix, a place that he has a top 3 finish, and former ARCA Menards Series West champion.
Rolled into victory lane as the champion in 2019. He then, with Bill McAnally and his friend Mike Hilgeman from back his home state of Wisconsin, they decided to go truck racing together. So Derek's back for the first time since he won that championship here at Phoenix in November of 2019.
Drew Dollar, the Daytona pole sitter and winner at Talladega last year, came up just a little bit short in his quest for the victory at Daytona.
Yeah, he was close. That left front fender damage, there was a lot of bear bond on that car, and aerodynamics were so important there. I don't think he was able to pull out a line there, but we're going to see a lot of pulling out a line here tonight. This track provides 2, 3, 4, 5, and for some drivers a chance to go green, white, checkered on new tires and blast by everybody and win a championship like Austin Cindric did last November.
That was a good race. We'll be talking about that with Austin. We're just moments away from getting the official command to start engines here for the General Tire 150. I'm sure you mentioned all those teenagers here, Jim. A lot of anxious moments, a lot of butterflies behind the wheel as they strap in.
Jesse Love won the championship last year. That means he had to race here at Phoenix, but he said last March with Bill McAnally Racing, he had no idea what he was doing. He had no clue how to pass cars. He said, Zane Smith passed me and Sam Mayer passed me, and I realized then I need to learn from them. And he's done that well. He won 3 of the first 7 races in the West Series last year at age 15, the youngest ever NASCAR champ. He's back with us, not only as a West Series driver going full-time, but we'll see him a bunch here on MAV TV during the Sioux Chief Showdown races.
Taylor Gray in that number 17 machine. There is Gracie Trotter in the Mobile One number 25. She is one of 3 females in the starting lineup tonight. There is Taylor Gray still looking for his first victory in the Elite Series of the ARCA Menards Series. Taylor Gray, one of those teenagers here tonight, and he's looking for good fortune here. He's had some success here last year at this racetrack. Now, finally, let's go downstairs trackside for the command to fire engines.
And now, race fans, for those most famous words in motorsports, please welcome Inventory Control Manager of Courtesy Chevrolet, Ron Guy.
On behalf of Courtesy Chevrolet in Phoenix, Arizona, and our partners at General Tire, drivers, start your engines.
The engines have fired for all the machines. 30 strong is the starting lineup tonight for the General Tire 150. 2 drivers carrying onboard cameras, Jesse Love and Trevor Huddleston. Both of those drivers, West Coast drivers. It's a combination event tonight for the ARCA Menards Series and the ARCA Menards Series West. We'll be right back. Phoenix Raceway tonight for the ARCA Menards Series and the General Tire 150. Cars have now filed out onto the racetrack. 30 strong for the ARCA Menards Series here tonight. And there's a great look, a view from the Lucas Oil Chopper. There is Jesse Love in the Napa Auto Parts number 16 for Bill McAnally Racing. A lot of West Coast drivers in the starting lineup tonight as this is a combination event. There is Trevor Huddleston, multi-time late model champion at Irwindale Speedway in California. To his inside, the kid out of Wisconsin, the 19 of Derek Kraus. Let's check out the starting lineup brought to you by General Tire here tonight. Ty Gibbs fastest in practice. He is number 1 to the starting line here tonight. Corey Haim alongside.
We're going to see a lot of things out of this 15-year-old Taylor Gray, who starts outside row number 2 in the number 17 for David Gilliland Racing. Nick Sanchez, that comes from Rev Racing background, last year in the E-Series. He's fully committed to this series, ARCA Menards Series. He'll start 6th, a great practice session for those teams that line up in the first 4 rows.
Jack Wood is a full-time competitor for the title this year in that number 21. Zane Smith alongside of him. Rounding out the top 10, the grandson of the King Richard Petty, Thad Moffitt in 9th, and Todd Souza, who was pretty good in practice earlier on in the 13.
Great to see 18-year-old Joey East getting his first chance with Mike Nake to run the number 54. It's all red, the same number style that Mike Nake has raced on the West Coast here for decades. Good to see that teenager in the field starting 12.
On the outside of row number 7 is Trevor Huddleston. His teammate, Jake Drew from Bob Riccati Racing, is on the next row on the inside. And then a little bit further back, you see Tody Breidinger in this 02. One of 3 ladies, Bridget Burgess, who used to compete in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series right there in 24th.
And we find some drivers trying to find experience. Nobody who has more experience here than Bobby Hillis. He'll start 30th in the field. We'll see how he advances forward after just a few laps in practice. They had some work to do, and we'll see how Bobby can advance in his first race of the 2021 ARCA Menards Series West season.
And always great to see Brad Smith with us as well. More than 300 starts for that veteran racer in the ARCA Menards Series. Here's the General Tire onboard camera for Trevor Huddleston.
Trevor is a driver racing for the championship for Sunrise Ford. This team has finished 2nd in the points the last 4 years as a group, Sunrise Ford. Trevor's getting a chance here. He does a lot of work with his young drivers that'll be his teammates throughout the season. And this number 16 team of Jesse Love, what can you say? Bill McAnally Racing won the championship last year with our Bonte onboard camera driver, and Jesse is looking to put together another season. We'll see him here in the West and with the Venturini Motorsports Group in some of our Sushi Showdown races.
Jesse Love is one of those touted drivers from the West Coast. Just 16 years old, competed or tried to compete to make it to the A-Main in the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals back in Tulsa, Oklahoma in January. Now setting sights on an aggressive stock car schedule between late models and the stock cars of the ARCA Menards series as well this year, between his West schedule as well as some rides in the Sioux Chief Showdown this year. Jim Trado, I've been waiting for this all winter long. Your keys to every single race that we have live on MAV TV, what are they here tonight?
While I've only gotten a pace car ride with Michael McDowell around his home track, I can tell you one thing. The starts here are amazing. Clean on the start, clean on the restarts. You've got to get through what will be a no-tire spin. You got to worry about where they're coming from. If they're faster behind you on a launch, that's important. Clean starts and restarts mean everything, especially where the start-finish line and the Geico restart zone is here at Phoenix Raceway. Turns 1 and 2, they're flat and forever. Only 9 degrees of banking to hold these cars, and it seems like it's going around that corner, and it's so flat, you got to be right, holding the car where you want it in turns 1 and 2. Not what gives you, but what you can handle on that race car. And 30 cars in the field, that's a big hole to dig out of. If you crash early, you must survive this race. If you're running for a championship in either series, it's a lot of points to make up over the 20-race season if you don't have a great finish. So survival is a huge part of this as well.
Surviving is the name of the game. And Austin Cindric, all these young kids out here, what are they thinking as they're about to embark on a 150-lap race on what can be a very tricky racetrack?
Well, I'm certainly sure that they're thinking about how many cars wide they're going to be on this dogleg here on the start of the race. They're ready to go. They've been sitting in this rain delay. It's a tricky racetrack, like you mentioned, on these restarts. You've got a lot of room to make moves on entry of turn 1, but then that exit off of 2 gets really sharp and causes some problems.
So let me ask you about this dogleg, because the last time I was here was 2014. They restructured the racetrack. But I've been watching on TV, and man, you can get 3, 4, and 5 wide sometimes. How do you know where to go in that dogleg on the front stretch?
I mean, if you're behind somebody, you want to be lower than them. You want to be as low as you can and spitting up dust down by the inside wall by that Sunoco sign. So it's definitely hairy because your angle of approach on turn 1. But if you can get those spots and get that track position here at Phoenix, it's important.
Do you think this track has changed a little bit from when these guys and gals actually practiced out here earlier today? That rain came through, really soaked this racetrack.
Yeah, in my experience here, you usually tighten up a little bit after it rains. You get a green racetrack. So, I mean, for me, racing on Saturday, and I'm sure the guys watching this race that are racing on Sunday are going to be watching this traction compound. See if these guys tonight in the ARCA Menards series are going to be able to move up, utilize it, and because that's going to be changing throughout the whole race weekend here in Phoenix.
Hey, what was it like for you the first time you took the green flag here at Phoenix?
A little sketchy. I'll be honest. My first race here was in the truck series, and I'd never been on a track this big and one of those things. And in the middle of the field, that's where it's difficult. That's where the racing gets really hairy. And there's a lot of drivers that I'm sure are making their first starts tonight.
Jim, we're about to embark on the second race of the year on a 1-mile strange oval here at Phoenix Raceway.
The uniqueness, though, figuring this out, the compromise, because the turns 3 and 4 are so different than 1 and 2, and we just talked about that dogleg and all the things that Ty Gibbs has put together in his driving repertoire. This is his 4th start on the racetrack. He has finished no worse than 3rd. He should be able to set the pace early on with a clean start here at the start of this one.
If you had to pick one driver here who might be a big storyline tonight for us to watch, who would it be?
Taylor Gray in the 17, 15 years of age. This kid has what it takes. He won at Kern County against the West competition last fall.
Listen to that horsepower. There is Taylor Gray, still looking for his first victory in the ARCA Menards Series Elite Tour. Coming to green this time by, going down the backstretch and heading in front of the big grandstands here at Phoenix Raceway. It'll be Ty Gibbs on the inside in the 18 and Corey Heim, the Daytona winner, on the outside of that front row. The green is out on a cloudy evening in the Valley of the Sun. Hold on, a couple of drivers hard into the wall, including Zane Smith. Tody Breidinger gets into the 25 of Gracie Trotter. So we didn't even complete a lap here, and a big melee down in the first corner.
Great restart, great start by Ty Gibbs. Got away from the field, and you saw he took a left-hand turn. You thought maybe he's going for the infield. Nope, just go where Austin Cindric said he'd go, right to that inside wall on the front stretch to get the lowest angle into turn one. Unfortunately for Gracie, she washed out, it appeared, underneath Zane Smith. They both started this race in the top 3 rows. Gracie was on the bottom, and Zane knows about this racetrack. He's a full-time truck competitor, but when they come into turn one and there's only so much room for 2 cars, this is what happens.
Let's take a look at the Auto Park It replay, and as we do, what did you see, Austin?
Yeah, that's a difficult part of the racetrack. It's funny. She seemed to almost get on the seam there on the outside and just lose control. You know, when you're on the inside of one of these cars, it's really hard to lose that side force, and you get loose. And then once it does, there's no banking in turns 1 and 2 to hold you.
Disappointing end to the day for Gracie Trotter. Tody Breidinger as well had some contact with her. And there you see Zane Smith has climbed out okay out of his 17 race car.
And the number 21 of Jack Wood we saw there, he's racing full-time in this series. His car is on pit road. They're trying to do everything they can. Chad Bryant has come over to GMS Racing since last year. He was a team owner and crew chief, won the championship in 2016 as the Cometic Crew Chief of the Year for Chase Briscoe. He is working right with Jack Wood. They committed to the E-Series and then changed their mind to go full-on ARCA Menards Series. So they're racing for points. We'll see them perhaps on pit road multiple times to get this car prepared for that California rookie driver, Jack Wood, who's making his 15th official West start, but first in the ARCA Menards Series.
Austin, we see the damage there to the 25 of Gracie Trotter. We just saw the damage a little bit to the front end of the 21 of Jack Wood. We're going to take a look at this replay one more time, and I want you to take me through what Gracie Trotter went through in the corner in our Auto Park It replay. This is coming out of the dog leg for Gracie Trotter in the 25.
So you can see that she's already really tight to the inside of Zane Smith, and Zane's obviously trying to set up for the exit of turn 2. He leaves her enough room, but you see she's not quite close enough to that yellow line, and she must already have been getting loose while she's gotten into the corner. And then once you get close to the door of that 17 car, it takes all the air off, and you're pretty much along for the ride.
The 21 side-slapped the wall, and we are told that now Wood has brought that machine behind the wall. That team still looking. This has important championship implications as well, Jim, because he's a full-time competitor here with us this year.
Yeah, GMS Racing with Sam Mayer really set the table. They won the East Series championship back-to-back. That team now has graduated, if you will. Marty Lindley and his guys have gone to Kyle Busch Motorsports in the truck effort. That team split up because Sam Mayer's got a bright future with Junior Motorsports in the NASCAR Xfinity Series come his birthday end of June. So this team has been really set on a high pedestal because of the success they've had in the ARCA Menards Series specifically.
We talked about that team spirit here. Well, Drew Dollar, no longer a teenager, just turned 20 years old, driver that Sunbelt Rentals number 15, and right now he's looking good. He's in third, had a good practice session, but Drew Dollar is a guy that really wants to get to victory lane on a track other than the mega super speedway.
So last year he crashed out late in this race, and I think that set them back in points. And his crew chief at the time, Shannon Rush, they really had a beat-up race car at the end of the race. And then it became a matter of what can we do next, and they went out and won Talladega. But then they struggled throughout the season. Now this year, guess what? Drew Dollar's not full-time in the ARCA Menards Series. He has 12, 13 of the ARCA Menards Series races circled on tracks he wants to race at, and he's made a commitment to work with Kyle Busch Motorsports for 7 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series races. So this is really about him learning as a driver, not worrying so much about the points for Venturini this year.
You mentioned Shannon Rush. Last year, the crew chief for Drew Dollar. Now the crew chief for the championship contender, Corey Heim out of Georgia.
I like this combination. Corey can really drive. Bob, you and I have seen him race on the short tracks, whether it be Lee Pulliam's late model or in the super lates recently, the Jet Motorsports team that's done so well with Stephen Nasse. To have Corey, and what he went through last year was really kind of a put it in drive, put it in neutral, put it in drive, put it in neutral. He was week to week, not having a full-time ride anywhere. To get this combination of Shannon Rush, who's been in the career chief position on every level of NASCAR National Series, and to put him together with Corey and Shannon and Kevin Reed in the shop every day, comparing notes with Billy Venturini, they are going to prove to Ty Gibbs that he's got something to worry about, because everybody thought, oh, Ty Gibbs, the way he's been running, now full-time, watch out. Corey's going to be in that conversation all year.
The kid's got a lot of talent. Last year got off on the right foot. The win at Speedfest down in Cordele, Georgia for the CRA Super Series. That was a big super late model race. And Austin, this is a place where a lot of people, a lot of drivers really try to climb that proverbial racing ladder. How important was it, the things that you learned here in your limited starts in the ARCA Menards Series?
Yeah, in these ARCA Menards Series cars, you're kind of getting your taste of big horsepower meets the importance of downforce. You struggle a lot in dirty air at this type of racetrack. So, and that's something you'll do week to week on the NASCAR National Series schedule. So, it's definitely adds those challenges. But this racetrack in particular is very difficult because you've got two different ends. You got 1 and 2 that's really flat, as you just saw. The racetrack doesn't hold the cars very well, and then 3 and 4 you have a lot of banking. It's a weird shape. You drive up right by the wall on the exit, so it provides a lot of challenges that you'll probably have to deal with it the more you move up the ladder.
And it'll be interesting to see as the sun sets here what happens to the racetrack as well. What a run for Kyle Sieg at Daytona, Jim. This team just overwhelmed with joy after that great finish.
So Kyle Sieg's older brother races the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's a family team, RSS Racing. His dad, Rod, they put a lot of time and effort into that program. They initially started with a 2-car Xfinity team this year. They actually sold the owner's points for the other team, I think because Kyle finished 5th at Daytona. That's how excited they are for this 19-year-old driver to get a chance out of Tucker, Georgia, to race in more ARCA Menards Series races in the Hoarders.com Chevrolet.
They are contemplating a full-time run this year in the ARCA Menards Series. They want to get through the first few races of the season, see where they are in points, and then maybe give it a go after that Daytona run. Maybe a good run here tonight. He's just outside the top 10 after just a few laps during this race. Kyle Sieg, very hungry for success in the ARCA Menards Series, has been a competitor in super late model racing the last 2 seasons or so at tracks like Five Flag Speedway in the Panhandle of Florida.
And when it came to racing in these big cars, he ran 3 races last year in the ARCA Menards Series. And to his benefit, we talk about how important the crew is. Bruce Cook, who won with Kevin Harvick Incorporated in the Truck Series, and he worked with a lot of different teams, Zane Smith included. He's the crew chief calling the shots for Kyle Sieg and this team.
Cleaning things up from the big first lap wreck down in turns 1 and 2. What a wild one it was for a couple of the competitors. The 25 of Gracie Trotter and Zane Smith getting together, and the rest was history. Jack Wood also involved in that one, full-time competitor in the ARCA Menards Series. The sun beginning to set over Phoenix, Arizona. Tonight, we are at Phoenix Raceway for the ARCA Menards Series General Tire 150, race 2 of the 2021 campaign for the series. And we have a special treat for you tonight. There's the brand new logo for the Sioux Chief Showdown. A mix of short tracks, dirt tracks, and a whole lot more. And we're excited because we have the majority of them live on MAP TV this year.
Love going back to Toledo Speedway, back on the ARCA Menards schedule this season. Berlin Raceway. I love that Michigan Oval. It's like nowhere else. We're going there July 17th live on MAP. I'm pumped for this schedule. We're getting the road courses in this year. We're going to Watkins Glen on August 6th to race on that Friday. And then Milwaukee Mile back on the schedule. They're racing August 29th. That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a big race weekend for a lot of different reasons, including the Sioux Chief Showdown points.
Throughout this entire race, we will be looking at some sweet moves. The Reese's sweet move of the race. You like that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, by the way. But starting tomorrow at 9 a.m., you can vote for today's Reese's Sweet Move of the race on the ARCA Menards Series Twitter page. That's at ARCA_racing. We will nominate several of the moves throughout the race. We'll maybe get Austin's input as well. And at the end of the race, we'll give you 3 choices, 3 nominations. And then tomorrow morning, beginning at 9 a.m., you'll get to vote on Twitter. You going to vote, Austin?
I tell you what, I put my money on the word dogleg being very integrated in the sweet move of the race.
So we have a first vote. It's not a race car or a race driver. It's the race track.
That's right. The dogleg itself here at Phoenix. It's fun. I tell you what, just from a fan standpoint, watching these races, being here, seeing how you guys tackle, seeing the sparks fly when you get down to that apron in the inside part of the track, it's just unbelievable.
Well, depending on your car setup, that's a rough transition. It doesn't look that bad like sitting here or on TV, but there's been some times you can't see where you're going and you get your visor knocked up. I mean, it's challenging, but you have to do it. That track distance is so key, and track position is important to where if you can get ahead of somebody, it's worth it.
And Austin, what we see here is the two different colors of racetrack here. You had mentioned that there's some traction compound. That's the darkened area. How much did that play into what you guys did under the bright sunshine last November? That has added some grip. And is it another lane or 2 lanes you can actually race out around here?
Yeah, the intention of adding the traction compound is to add a second lane for racing. You know, I think to start off this race and through the majority of it, we're going to see cars trying to wrap that yellow line all the way around. But if there's a few of these guys that are able to make that second lane work and start to activate that, it takes heat to activate that traction compound. And the interesting thing, watching them dry the track, they had some track dryers up there blowing some hot jet fuel on top of that traction compound. So I'm very interested. I'm interested to see how it's going to work for our race, and I think you'll see the guys with experience. I was really looking for Zane Smith, who obviously just got involved in that wreck there, and see some of these guys, maybe your Derek Kraus, Ty Gibbs, some of these guys that have been around these places with the traction compound before and try and make moves with it.
Austin Cindric may be learning a little bit tonight on our broadcast here live on MAV TV with how he's going to tackle the NASCAR Xfinity race here tomorrow at Phoenix Raceway. We mentioned how tricky this racetrack is, but there's lots to tell you about in regards to this particular race. Let's take a look at the Lucas Oil Race 411 for the General Tire 150. We mentioned the banking. It's not big, 8 to 11 degrees depending on where you are around this 1 mile racetrack. But the key here, Jim, I think, is those 8 tires in the pits. When will people take them with this modified live pit stop format?
And they listen to the teams and drivers saying, we want some strategy back in the races. We don't just know what laps we can put tires on. So, Austin, I think yours is probably the most recent example of putting tires on. How long do you want to save tires, or how quickly do they go away where you're begging for them from the driver's seat?
It's definitely a balanced track position versus tires, and what do the guys do behind you? It's a really difficult scenario to get put into. I mean, I expect Ty Gibbs to be the dominant car in this race, and there could be a situation in this race where everyone decides that the best way to beat Ty Gibbs is to put on tires, and he's stuck out there. So that's your worst fear, is the guy running well. And I think you'll see that, you know, with the option to figure out where you're going to pit, it's definitely going to play a factor if you have those cautions.
All right, Dave Reef, what are you hearing down on pit road?
Well, listening to the Racing Electronic Scanner, especially all the talk going on Corey Haim's channel about strategy. That's one of the interesting things about this race. It's brought a lot of different strategies that haven't even been thought about, strategies that will play out. But the one that team talked a lot about is the radar. I hate to bring up that bad word, but if you look, the black dot in the center of this phone is this racetrack. There are still showers around here, and depending on what weather app you actually use, it suggests that we could have rain in the area again around 8 o'clock. So all they said basically to Corey Haim was like, listen, this could happen. So there's only one way to run this race if you're you, and that is as hard as you can right now.
I like his cracked phone, too, by the way. Kind of looks like
help
mine.
him out on that.
He does. He's gotten into the wall.
You know somebody at Verizon, don't you, Austin? That was your sponsor for that Daytona 500 this year.
You know, I think that phone would look a lot better if we took it to Verizon. I think you're exactly
There
right.
you go. See, you got to love it. Austin Cindric learning well. Let's take another look at what happened here from the Lucas Oil Chopper in regards to what brought out this caution. This is from Graydon and Kahn doing a great job with that chopper high above this 1 mile racetrack. Look at side by side, that battle for sixth. The 25 white car of Gracie Trotter on the inside. Zane did come down. Austin, that was a unique perspective right there a little bit. Gracie had her nose in there, but really it just came down to a battle for real estate down in the corner.
Yeah, it's tough, and I'm sure the thing she's going to be kicking herself on is the only reason Zane was there is because Zane got a really great restart. So Zane was trying to make up spots early, and obviously she lost a little bit of the ground on the restart and had a loose car apparently and was trying to gather it up, and once they made contact, it was all over.
I also noticed, thanks to the Lucas Oil Chopper perspective, she popped the left front brake. I saw a little bit of pop of dust, so she was hard on the brakes trying not to get into Zane, but as you mentioned, Austin, she was too far gone at that point.
Yeah, once you saw her deviate off of that yellow line, you saw how the car was straightened out, and all she was trying to do was to keep the car from going up the racetrack and save it, and obviously not enough real estate.
Nick Sanchez in this number 2 machine, part of the NASCAR Diversity Program, 3rd in the ARCA Menards Series East point standings last year.
And this team has gone through a lot. They went from 2 teams in this ARCA Menards Series East to 1. Roger Caruth has that ride. They said we're going full-time ARCA Menards Series racing for all 20 races with this young driver out of Miami, Florida. He also with this team is in the shop every day, and they switched over to Chevrolet. They bought 3 or 4 cars from last year's ARCA champ Brett Holmes. This is one of the cars they're using. A lot of notes from Shane Huffman are making this team certainly a contender early on and maybe surprise some people, but the way he's going to run this early portion of the race in his first time at Phoenix, I think he has a lot of confidence with his team, knowing what they have as a full-time runner there this season. I think he's going to do pretty well here for a first-time racer at Phoenix Raceway.
But, Jim, I think a lot of these drivers don't know what to expect just yet. With this green racetrack, the rain came through earlier, still threatening skies around us. There is Derek Kraus out of Wisconsin. And a couple of years ago, man, he set sail in the ARCA Menards Series West, back when it was known as the K&N Series. 5 total wins back in 2019, 2 wins in the East Series as well. He loves these race cars.
And that Bill McAnally team said, Derek, you need to come out in the West early because we're going to Kern County Raceway, a track he's won a ton at. They shook their cars down this week. And the reason why they do that, Jesse Love's a teammate, but also there's another young driver in that field that they really want to get some laps in with. So they really took Cole Moore to school there to get the cars in a position where they know what they have for this race this weekend.
Austin, seeing what we did on that start and getting that caution, do you think these drivers are even more anxious than they were in the initial start?
We're about to find out, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Indeed. Again, Ty Gibbs in the 18, that pristine auction car. He steps on the gas, back to green here at Phoenix.
I think they learned a little bit from Ty Gibbs. That was a lot tighter restart.
On board with Trevor Huddleston, that Sunrise Ford, the number 6 machine. That car has so much history around the West Coast.
Derek Thorne, 2-time champion in that number 6 Sunrise Ford. And here we go, 3 wide, Bob.
3 wide battle for the lead. Drew Dollar wants it bad. And the Sunbelt Rentals car into the lead here at Phoenix.
Worry about the car on the outside, and Drew said, I've got an opening on the bottom. Here we go.
Corey Heim back in that JBL Audio number 20. Corey Heim to the point. It looks like Ty Gibbs is going to be able to come with him. A lot of muscling here in the early going for this top spot, Austin.
Yeah, I think that was a really great restart by Drew Dollar, and he was able to really capitalize on the restart that Corey Heim had, because he got right on Ty Gibbs' door and prevented him to have momentum down the back straightaway, and he passed them both.
Ty Gibbs almost got into the side of Corey Heim in that Venturiti Motorsports number 20. Gibbs back to the front, as we thought we would see early in this race, Jim.
He was third, half a lap ago. He's got the lead again on that number 18 Toyota for Coy Gibbs Racing.
Taylor Gray back in fourth. Nick Sanchez in 5th. Drew Dollar trying to move by the 20 of Corey Heim. He's able to do it at least momentarily, but will Heim have the momentum on the outside?
Question already is, how long can you want to race side by side this early in the race? You want to keep your General tires underneath you, but they aren't done settling it out yet in turn 3.
Austin, you see these guys really fighting hard here early in this race. Do you think this is just something that we would have expected normally, or because of the threatening skies, do you think they're being even more aggressive than we thought they would be?
I think these guys know how important that track position is. It's going to be very difficult to pass when the tires get older and the cars get more difficult to drive. Obviously, you see Drew Dollar lost that spot there, but it's going to be a challenge. But like you said, the weather plays a huge factor, and these guys are definitely on go from the start.
Bob, you asked me who I would pick as a dark horse, this Ripper Coffee, number 17 of Taylor Gray. We mentioned he's only 15. He's got 13 more days till his sweet 16th birthday. But I tell you what, he's raced here before, and the way he's gone about things, he's always fast. No matter what this condition is, he's able to learn and dissect, and he bounces things off his older brother, bounces things off of David Gilliland. Todd Gilliland races the full-time truck series at Front Row Motorsports out of their shop. He has a lot of resources, but when it comes to driving, pure speed, I like what this driver could do behind the wheel of a race car. He finished 3rd here last November in the West Finale.
I still get mesmerized as you look at those top 5 finishes that he's just 15 years old. Yes, he has not gotten into victory lane just yet, but he's been knocking on the door. The kid's got a lot of talent. He's also got a good voice as well. It's been very outspoken over the last 6 months or so once he got comfortable behind the wheel in this series.
And just because of age, he cannot run this full ARCA Menards Series schedule. He can't run at Talladega. He could not run at Daytona. He's going to run a bunch of the Sioux Chief Showdown races, and this team is committed to racing him 4 points for the ARCA Menards Series East Championship. They've already held 2 races there, finished 4th at 5 Flags, the most recent of the races.
Dave Reef, as we take a look at Jesse Love, trying to work his way around this racetrack. Jesse Love now in 7th with that Bounty onboard camera. But Dave Reef, you have an update on Taylor Gray?
Well, Taylor Gray, first of all, he's a boy. He doesn't have a sweet 16 there, Jim Tradow. He is 13 days away from turning that age. But I'm back quickly catching up with Zane Smith involved in that incident with Gracie. Kind of an innocent place to be in. A short day. What happened from your point?
Yeah, these short days in the ARCA series at Phoenix is the story of it pretty much for the past few years. But it's always something. I don't know. I don't know what else I could have done there. I just felt like I got cleaned out, but part of it, it's just a lot of fun to come out here with Bruce Cook and Steve Gowan and get laps at Phoenix. These are critical. You got to be really good here. So unfortunately, we only got half of one, but we got a few more races planned this year, so we'll see what we're going to do.
Look forward to seeing you. Thanks.
Well, the bottom line is any 16th birthday is sweet. Let's just leave it at that. We were just watching a battle for 10th. Kyle Sieg in that 28 has moved up into the top 10.
And red number 54 is 18-year-old Joey East racing inside of Todd Souza, the veteran. This is a great run here. Racing for 11th.
And then what a story for Drew in that number 9. Only been in a big stock car for a year. The spec late model champion at Irwindale Speedway with 3 wins to his credit last year. Then got the opportunity of a lifetime this year here in that 9 machine.
Great story about Jake. He raced karts a long time. He was really, really good. And Bob Riccotti's grandson was the driver he was helping out. Well, Bob Riccotti's son James said, hey, we want to help you more, but we don't want you to do it in the go-kart. Bob said, let's get you in a stock car. So last year they had the full point schedule at Irwindale, and they won the spec late model championship. This past December, they're taking the car to Irwindale Speedway to get some laps and testing for the number 6 of Trevor Huddleston. And Bob said, hey, Jake, bring along your equipment. Maybe we'll get some laps at the end of the day. They do the test. He gets some laps mid-January. He gets a call from Bob Ricciotti, and this is no joke. This is what Jake told me this week. He said, Bob called me and said, what do you think about doing the full West schedule? And Jake said, I'm in. and then Bob Ricciotti said, oh, by the way, if you said yes to that question, I'll see you at work Monday morning. You're going to be working full-time in the shop as part of this opportunity. So Jake's been working with his team, and it's really helping this young driver progress quickly with such an established team, and Bill Cedric making the calls.
And somebody that needs a little help is Todd Souza. Souza has lost 4 or 5 spots in the last couple of laps. He's dropped from 10th all the way to 15th in that number 13 machine. There is the 18 of Ty Gibbs, the leader of this race, now by just about a second over Corey Heim.
So we expected this. Austin, you said we expected Ty to dominate. I wonder how much of a wake-up call that restart was, and then Ty fired back so quickly. Should he be racing this hard at this point in the race?
Well, I think with this lap traffic the way it is right now, that's what's been really surprising to me. I think for Ty, the more of a buffer that he can have, the easier it is, because Corey Heim hasn't been left. You know, he's keeping up with him. If anything, he's been gaining here in lap traffic. So I think he'll have a race. I think the lap traffic's going to play a role if it goes green for a while.
The next car that is scheduled to go a lap down actually just did. Sarah Burgess has just gone down a lap in the number 88. Her mom, Sarah, a former off-road racer and now the crew chief for her daughter.
Yeah, Bridget got some seat time in an off-road truck. She said, I really want to go stock car racing. So her mom's the crew chief. Bridget now racing full-time in the West Series with a car they purchased in the offseason. Last year they bummed one off of Bell McAnally Racing. They said, we couldn't thank them enough for that, but they're now working with their own team, their family operation, full-time this year in the West.
our bounty rookie spotlight firmly planted on the 99 of Cole Moore, running a full-time schedule in the ARCA Menards West Series this year for Bill McAnally Racing. He's been very good the last couple of years in a late model. Won 7 races last year at Roseville, California, All-American Speedway, and the year before that actually won the SRL Super Late Model Championship without a single victory.
And that says a lot. There's a touring series here in the West Coast you need to get a hold of. SRL Southwest Tour is amazing. The Spears family's been behind it. A lot of great quality drives, and he's going to still race in that series. He's going to race full-time in that. He's going to get as many laps in as he can elsewhere. And Cole Moore, for Bill McAnally Racing, getting back in the series. He had a couple of starts for Bill over the 2016, 2017. He got the call to fill in the second full-time seat.
We look at the 20 of Corey Heim running second, Austin, and it looks like he's holding steady right about 1 second, the gap between first and second. Do you think Corey right now is trying to really catch Ty, or is he just riding and satisfied right now as we work into this race?
I think Corey's just close enough to see and be able to give his crew chief some feedback. Okay, this is where Ty's better than me. This is where I have to figure out, maybe this is where I'm better than him. So I think you've got enough laps left in this 150 lap race to understand what your strengths and weaknesses are versus the leader, because you know you're going to have to be racing Ty this whole race. So I think he's being able to gauge what he's got and hopefully be able to apply it for later in the evening.
Gracie Trotter has been a strong competitor in the first 2 races of the season, but misfortune in both of those races. Dave Reith is with her.
Yeah, so much excitement for Gracie Trotter. Dashed early. The disappointment, we certainly know what that feels like. We just kind of want to know what it was like from your perspective, because it did look like you made a great attempt to get in that car from getting into Zane.
I couldn't hear you.
Just take us through what happened.
Yeah, we started off a little bit tight, and we drove it in there, and I thought we were good, but the 17 kind of shoved us down a little bit. They pinched us down, but stuff like that happens. It's just a racing deal, and we'll move on to the next one.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
You could tell, Jim, she was frustrated as we look at this auto park replay of what happened to Gracie and Zane Smith on the first lap of this race. But you could tell she's been trained well as well by the Toyota folks in making sure she didn't say the wrong thing.
Yeah, Jack Wood, that white number 21, Quick Quack Car Wash, number 21 Chevy.
No.
He has been behind the wall, not able to continue on.
Caution, back out. Bryce Hogberg in that 0-1. He had some difficulty in practice, brought out a couple of cautions in practice, and now 35 laps into this race, we have another caution.
Making his debut in the ARCA Menards Series with Andy Hillenberg in one of his 4 entries.
Here's the auto park it replay. Drew Dollar caught him in a hurry, made some contact. Ooh. Drew Dollar had no place to go. Austin, if you take a look at that, you're a fast car catching a slower car. What are your thoughts on what we saw?
Yeah, that was rough. I mean, if you're either of them right, it's a difficult spot as you're the faster approaching car, because it didn't seem like he had quite enough of a lane to the bottom, and obviously that's a difficult day for Bryce. He was just trying to hold his lane there and ends up with a torn up race car.
Turn 3, would you say that's the narrowest part? You got to get right on entry. I mean, it was a matter of Bryce was there, but I don't think there was much choice for Drew to go where he wanted to go.
Yeah, you definitely have to commit once you enter into turn 3. The hill really drops down to the bottom, and you have to commit to your lane. And obviously Drew was trying to wrap the bottom and probably assumed that the 0-1 was going to wash up the racetrack more. And obviously they had some contact, and Drew didn't want to lose any time and didn't lift.
There's the damage to the front end. Slight contact with that Sunbelt Rentals machine for Drew Dollar as he caught the slower car. Free pass goes to Cole Moore during this caution period. On board with Jesse Love. Jesse Love has our bounty onboard camera. He's currently running in the 7th spot, and we got to know this kid last year pretty well through some late model starts. He's an open wheel kid from the West Coast. He's got that shaggy hair, good looking kid, good talker.
It's the surfer
and
dude.
Pretty good behind the wheel as well.
The surfer dude. He loves surfing in the Pacific Ocean. He actually moved to Charlotte, has yet to hit the water in Lake Norman. But I tell you, he's got the right attitude. He's got certainly the attention of Toyota and anybody he's raced with. I asked him this week, what age did you start racing for points? And Austin's probably another kid that goes, yep, I was there then. Age 5, he won his first quarter midget championship. Jesse Love said, yeah, when I was a kid, He's only 16 now. Yeah, when I was a kid, my first full season running for points, I guess, was when I was 5. And I kind of turned pro at about age 10, knowing this is what I wanted to do.
And the QMA, you mentioned the quarter midgets, USAC .25. They have great programs to really train kids. My son Blaze was a quarter midget racer, and we had a lot of fun as a family. And I think, Austin, that could be said for you guys as well. Your dad, Tim, the entire Team Penske family, definitely a big family there, and all sorts of racing all over this country. We'll be right back with more racing from the ARCA Menards Series at Phoenix. Under caution for the ARCA Menards Series at Phoenix Raceway. 1 to go until we go back to green. 39 laps complete. Currently 30 cars on hand for the series in the Valley of the Sun. So far it's been all Ty Gibbs after Gibbs, Corey Heim, and Drew Dollar kind of mingled for that lead early on. There is Drew Dollar currently running in third, Dave Reef.
Concern, guys, about Drew Dollar was whether any tape was ripped off the front of that car and keeping that car running at the optimum temperature. It was something that the team here on the box, as well as the spotters high atop Phoenix Raceway, easily diagnosed. In addition to talking with him, watching that temperature gauge, they used the Phoenix Raceway vision and the great work we're doing tonight on MAV TV to look at the front of that car and realize the damage, not too bad.
Yeah, Dave, you can see that damage. It looks like more like just a scuff mark to the front end of that machine on the left front side.
But even here at Phoenix, aerodynamics do play a big part. Knocking that left front headlight, it's going to change the handling of the race car.
Austin, you buckled in. You ready for this one? This could get wild.
I'm ready for another restart. These guys have been fun so far, and I think they're learning each time, and I think it should be fun. See where Gibbs decides to launch.
Jim, what do you think? 3, 4 wide going through the dogleg? Let's find out.
20 cars got a quarter panel.
We see 3 wide. Look at that battle for 5th. Battle for the lead as well. Corey Heim looking good. Very strong on the outside. But right there in the middle of the corner, Austin, he loses that momentum.
Yeah, I just saw him get those right sides in that traction compound, and the car didn't keep moving up. So I think the more these guys do these restarts and learn that stuff is up there and ready to be used, I think they're going to have more success.
Do you think there's a little bit of a fear of the unknown of that traction compound right now from some of these competitors?
Absolutely. I mean, you could stick your right side tires in it and it could feel like glass, and you could stick your right side tires in it and generate some momentum. So it's definitely a difficult situation, but you want to be the first one up there to make the most time.
Riding on board with Trevor Huddleston, the General Tire camera to the inside he goes of the 16 Napa machine for Jesse Love. That is a battle for 9th.
For the last 2 years, the Phoenix Raceway was the home of the finale for the ARCA Menards Series West. He's at 2 starts here. Trevor Huddleston has and 2 top 10 finishes. Todd Souza, holy cow, he saved it.
Wow, Souza, all sorts of sideways right there, a little bit of a tap going through the corner, and that could be a treacherous spot of the racetrack. I want to know, Jim, do you think that's a nomination for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race by Todd Souza?
That has made the list. Holy cow. Good thing he's got 9 other starts here at Phoenix. You know how to save that race car.
Close call down there in the corner. Joey East in that 54 machine making a little bit of contact. So far, it's Gibbs, Heim, Dollar. As we've seen throughout the entire race so far, 44 laps complete, the top 3. A little bit further back, they're starting to get racy out here, Jim.
I'm just curious to see who's going to be going forward and who's going to be going back, because those restarts, they want to get everything they possibly can. Very few cars, with the exception of Todd Souza, are now using that dogleg. They're trying to get that rhythm back, trying to get that car underneath them, and we don't see a whole lot of lane changing, if you will, in this run after the green flag of our second caution. We know Ty can pretty much put his car anywhere. We saw him race. He lost the lead. He went to the middle of the racetrack, gathered it back up, now continues to set the tone here. But I'm just wondering how wide this track is going to get to allow for passing opportunities with these tires now 47 laps into this race.
Ty Gibbs does have a victory this year, but not in the ARCA Menards Series. He finished 4th at Daytona, but he did come back the very next week and won the NASCAR Xfinity Series race on the road course of Daytona. Corey Heim, nice and steady, the Daytona winner in 2nd.
And Corey Heim, again, this is just his first full season race in the ARCA Menards Series, but he had 2 races here in the West Series. Those finales I told you about in 19 and 20, he got to race in both of them. Last year with Venturini, the year prior, he actually was racing an ARCA Ilmor 396 engine in more of a trial run. Made his way through the field and finished 3rd. So in terms of track time, not many of these drivers have laps here. Heim has already raced here twice and done very well.
Drew Dollar, part-time schedule in the ARCA Menards Series, part-time schedule in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series this year. And just behind him, Jim Trado told you about the driver of the number 17, Taylor Gray. Drew Dollar has been very strong in 3rd, but Taylor Gray has been lurking back there in that 4th spot. He could be a threat to go to victory lane tonight.
Yeah, Drew Dollar has 2 top 5 finishes here in this division at Phoenix. Taylor Gray has 1 start. That was a 3rd place run for him. And look how he's wrapping the bottom. I talked about he's racing full-time in the East Series. He has more recency time, taking 2 green flags and 2 checkered flags. They could have won both at the New Smyrna and at 5 Flags. Those Florida short tracks were what he's already raced on this year to run in the ARCA Menards Series East and finished 3rd and 2nd in those, and he probably should have won both of them.
Gray resides in 4th, and a little bit of a gap until we get to 5th place runner Nick Sanchez. Sanchez had a great run in the ARCA Menards Series last year here in the springtime with a 6th place effort.
And the way he's running, staying there hard in the 5th position, I was wrong earlier. He actually finished 6th here. Rev Racing brought him out here in March of 20 to run one of the showdown races at the time. He ran that opportunity. He had 4 starts total, including here at Phoenix, where he finished 6th. So he told me this week, you know what, I learned a lot during that race. I had a good race car, but I kept screwing up. I didn't have the experience, but now I've gone to Gateway. I've been in the traction compound at other racetracks. He's really caught on quickly.
We haven't spoken a lot about the 46 Clean Packs car of Thad Moffitt. He is quietly having a very strong run.
Confident coming into this one. David Gilliland raced the West race here last year. Yes, that same David Gilliland that's raced in the Cup Series and Truck Series. He actually won the race here, the West race, in this race car. The car Thad's driving today is a car that David Gilliland drove to victory, passing Ty Gibbs, which not many can do in the ARCA Menards Series. Passed Ty Gibbs to win that race, so there's a lot of confidence coming into this one, and Thad has made his way forward. He's up to 6th now. He started well back in the field. Back in 9th, I say well back, because I know he was determined to get a top 3 in everything, practice, qualifying, and the race. That was his initial goal heading into the weekend.
We remind you that Ty Gibbs is atop the leaderboard right now, but Kyle Sieg, the driver of this 28 car, 5th at Daytona, having a heck of a run again here tonight at Phoenix in the 2nd race of the season. He's in 7th.
He's had Bruce Cook helping him set the car up. Last year he ran a handful of races. This year, the Sieg team has gone to the well, and they haven't gone too far. Jeff Green, the 2000 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, has worked with this RSS racing team in the Cups in the Xfinity Series as a crew chief. He's a part-time driver for them for many years, but now he's working with this young driver, getting that confidence. And Jeff Green, man, he talking about experience in laps here at Phoenix. He's done a ton of miles at every racetrack. That only can help this young driver.
The General Tire onboard camera for Trevor Huddleston. Watch him as he comes up to the start-finish line, and Austin goes through the dogleg.
Yeah, right now you're trying to decide how your entry looks into turn 1. You know, right now they're wrapping the paint here, and he obviously has a tight condition and can't overcome that seam. He's still trying to get down to the bottom and carry the momentum. And then you go to a completely different end of the racetrack in turns 3 and 4, where you dive down into the corner, into the banking. And same thing, got to get right on that line to get all the grip as you see him try and navigate lap traffic as well. He's probably going to try and take the dogleg here to get the position. And back into turn 1. I think this lap traffic tonight's going to play a big factor, like we've already seen with the 15 car there.
Just to let you know, if this racing thing doesn't work out for you, you're welcome to come back to the booth anytime. That was great analysis.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope that I get to do more stuff on inside the racetrack during the weekends, but this has been fun so far.
Hey, can I tell the folks a little secret about our conversation yesterday?
What do you got?
You called me. You're kind of wondering. I felt a little nerves about coming up into the booth tonight.
Yeah, a little bit. It's out of my element.
Doing a great job, but we have another caution here at this 1 mile facility. The number 21 out on 27, I apologize. Hillis winds up against the wall like he did in practice earlier today.
Suffered some left rear damage then, and unfortunately a little more left rear damage now in the driver, the number 27 from right here in Phoenix. Bobby Hillis has raced here several times in different car configurations. Great to see him back in the series, fighting hard for what he can do here. Bobby Hillis in the first impression press Chevrolet, though, unfortunately swapped ends, and that may be a little more than the bump he suffered in a practice crash.
Yeah, they had to repair that race car after that practice crash, but Hillis just one of those competitors trying to use the ARCA Menards series to get that valuable learning experience, especially on some of the bigger racetracks. Here's a look of it, what we have from our Auto Park It replay, hard into the wall with the left rear of that machine.
Joey East just made the short list. That was a sweet move. He was in that red number 54. He had to steer to the left. He was in the same tire tracks as Bobby Hillis entering the corner.
Will Ty Gibbs come down pit road? 8 tires. We're approaching, we're about a third of the way through this race, getting closer to the halfway point. Austin, with those 8 tires in the pits, what's the driver saying right now?
Yeah, obviously the tires have fallen off at this point. The difficult part for Mark McFarland is that if they pit and lose all the track position, can they make it back up before the next opportunity to pit is? So I feel like I talked about this earlier, and here we are. Obviously, it's early enough in the race that he'd be able to overcome anything, but yeah, definitely an opportune time for him.
What I love about Jim Trado, too, is we have a radio up here where we can hear all the teams. And whenever somebody else is talking, you're always monitoring that radio. Were you able to learn anything as far as whether people come down pit road?
This is the commitment already at Bick in turn number 2. And yes, Ty Gibbs is coming. They talked about what he wanted for changes. And Ty's one of the quietest talkers on the radio, so I had to jam that thing all the way into my ear to hear him. They're coming. Mark McFarland's going to make a small change that Ty Gibbs wants in this race car.
Here's what's interesting, Austin. The top 2 come down pit road during this caution period. Drew Dollar, 3rd place, and several other competitors, including Taylor Gray, did not come down pit road.
Yeah, I think that's going to play a big factor here before the end of the race. The gamble for those guys that stayed out is, when's the next opportunity going to come, and how effective are these new tires going to be for the 18 and the 20, who have obviously been two of the best cars so far this race.
Let's go to Dave Reef.
Well, as all these cars start coming toward pit road, when the leaders come, everybody's going to come. And that's probably good news for Corey Heim, who's been doing a great job holding his own in that 2nd position, but fighting a race car that is very, very tight. So big-time changes being made to loosen that car up. Ty Gibbs feeling very, very comfortable with his as well, but thought this was an opportune time to maybe start their pit strategy about how they can go on and finally get a win here in Phoenix.
And Jim, we saw a big swing at getting that car back to the liking of where Corey Heim wants to be with the handling on the right rear with the chassis adjustment. Here is the pristineauction.com number 18 for Ty Gibbs on pit road.
Didn't ask for peanut butter crackers this time, but he wants a fresh bottle of water. Ty Gibbs asked for that in his racing win at Daytona Road Course. 4 tires. We want to point out that the teams can change tires and add fuel, but not at the same time on pit stop. So again, they won't lose in relation to other cars they pit with any track position. So it wasn't a matter of trying to be Corey Heim out of the pits, trying to make sure that car was right for Ty's liking. 4 brand new General tires. That means only 4 left, and they can re-glue and use the tires they started the race on. But only 4 brand new tires on the car left for Ty Gibbs in the pit area with a lot of laps to go yet. Lap 60 working now under this 3rd caution.
The free pass during this caution going to the number 7 of Takuma Koga. Now racing with Jerry Pitts.
That's a big deal. Jerry Pitts and that whole team. Jerry was a crew chief for Bill Elliott back in the McDonald's number 94 days. He's made a home here on the West Coast. And Takuma Koga, with all the experience he's had, he's raced a ton with Joe Nava, who's a great, great guy. And this team, with what he's with now, the number 7, they won on the road course with Will Rogers. And it seems like anytime they roll a car on the racetrack, Jerry Pitts, the crew chief, has it prepared. They're going full-time ARCA Menards Series West with Takuma Koga, the 43-year-old out of Japan, as their full-time driver.
Let's find out why the number 18 car did come down pit road now prior to the halfway point. Let's go down to Dave Reef.
Standing by with crew chief Mark McFarland. Your strategy now becomes virtually everybody else's strategy. Talk about why you guys did come down and elect to do the changes that you did make right now.
Well, the competition caution's coming in about 10 laps, so we might as well get the track position over to guys that's going to stop there. The car seems to be pretty good. We're a little bit tight, so we freed it up a little bit and see what we got here. 20's pretty close, so we got to be on our game.
what are some of the things that you're looking at and planning for the rest of this 150-lap race? Still got a long way to go.
Yeah, it is a long race, but Ty seems pretty happy. Usually when he's happy, we're pretty close. So we're happy with the pristine auction. We got to thank those guys for coming on board with us, and General Tire for giving us a great tire to race on. It's always fun to come out here, just a little too cold.
Yeah, it is. Desert's supposed to be warm, guys.
So modified live pit stops. So we are looking at what the situation will be in regards to the modified live pit stops and a possible, as he noted, competition caution. What we have been told is that competition caution is possible contingent upon the amount of green flag laps in this race.
And if we had a caution before the halfway point-ish is what Mark was referring to, there's no guarantee there will be a halftime break. And Mark is counting on that. Ty's good enough, Mark's good enough to overcome that with as many laps as we have left in this race. But in reality, we may not have a caution for a long time. And they're going to have fresh tires. They'll be at the front in no time.
Yeah, you know, Drew Dollar, Taylor Gray, first and second now for this upcoming restart. They're probably looking at it and saying, hey, we want another caution about 15, 20 laps from now so we can come down and get those tires. But this really is going to make it an interesting race, Austin, because you're going to see pit strategy really come into play here.
Well, I've got two things I'm looking at here. I think, honestly, the biggest gain from that pit stop was Derek Kraus in that 19. You know, they were running ninth before that caution, and now with their strategy, they've been immediately bumped up to third on that strategy. So if that strategy ends up working out, that could really do great things for them in this race. I'd say the other thing here, and Jim touched on as well, I think Taylor's been a really great car on these shorter runs. He's been able to be right tucked up behind the 15 car, and I think he's got a good forward for the short runs, and I think that's probably why they want some cautions.
Take a look at Thad Moffitt in that Clean Packs machine. You see the grill there. He does have some debris on the front end of this grill. Usually when you come out to Phoenix and it's the desert, it's usually hot. Not too hot here. Definitely cool temperatures at night.
We'll keep it short, but I want to check in with Thad Moffitt, the driver of the Clean Packs Ford. Thad, you've been able to advance to third. You may not know, but you have a little something on your front grill. How's the car been thus far?
We're good right now. We're pretty good. This restart's really, really big. I think if we can get this track position and hold it, then we'll be really, really good. Our speed so far has been great. We're just a little snug in the center and free off, but it seems like that's what everybody's fighting. We're going with a little bit of a different strategy here, so we'll see how it plays out.
Thanks for checking in with us.
Thad Moffitt in that 46 machine. What a great run he had at Memphis last year with a fourth place finish.
He's fired up. He found another sponsor to join him for now 12 races in the ARCA Menards series, and that number 46 team based out of DGR shops.
All right, so this time, Drew Dollar in control of this restart. The 17 of Taylor Gray alongside. I don't know what to expect here. Both of those drivers very aggressive, it seems, on the most recent starts and restarts throughout this race. So see Taylor Gray just kind of holding back ever so slightly, trying to get the run on the outside. The green flag is back out. We go on board with Trevor Huddleston. Look at Taylor Gray to the lead, and look at who comes with him. Thad Moffitt now up to second. The team car is looking very strong here at Phoenix.
What a great restart on the outside. It looked like Drew Dollar might have spun his rear tires ever so slightly. Thad Moffitt passed him to the inside, and his teammate, that number 17, our leader, Taylor Gray, on the outside.
I think that was 4 or 5 wide there going through the dog leg last time. And Austin, I could see you watching that 18 of Ty Gibbs trying to work his way through traffic.
Yeah, how quick is it going to come? I think that was really critical for Taylor to get clear there on that restart. Like you said, Jim, he nailed it perfectly, and then when Drew spun the tires, it was icing on the cake for him. So right now he's just trying to get away and trying to establish that track position before this 18 comes up through, because it's not a matter of if, it's when. You know, he's already up to the top 5.
The Bounty onboard camera. That's Jesse Love trying to go to the outside of Nick Sanchez in the the number 2. Let's just ride with Jesse Love for a lap here, because it's an interesting perspective from that onboard camera. There is Ty Gibbs. Gibbs climbing through the field here. Gibbs already up to 6th. Ty Gibbs, very strong restart after coming down pit road. Let's find out how he did it in the Auto Park It replay.
Todd Souza made that huge move to the bottom. It was actually the inside of Ty Gibbs in that number 18. Ty was able to keep that middle lane rolling underneath Nick Sanchez. Almost 3 wide there with Jesse Love in the 16. Dipped just a little bit in that apron to get that run and past Todd Souza easily. Look at this. He's going to pick off Jesse Love here in the same corner. That car's strong.
Very strong. What I was looking at there was the car to the inside of Ty Gibbs. Todd Souza, did you see how close he got to the inside retaining wall?
I think Todd Souza's been on every single one of our highlight reels so far tonight, so he's looking good for that sweet move of the race.
Well, I think we should nominate Ty Gibbs for the sweet move of the race, the Reese's sweet move of the race. Souza's already got a nomination. So let's go with Ty Gibbs on that one because he gained a bunch of spots on that restart, Jim.
I'm all for that. And Austin Cindric joining us knows exactly what those fresh tires can do. Literally last year, they made a pit stop, the lap to go in the race, and came back and charged his way back. And as you may know, the NASCAR playoffs, you award the highest finisher of the 4 playoff championship contenders. Well, Austin Cindric won the race and the championship on those fresh tires, man. That had to feel really good knowing how good your tires were, like Ty Gibbs feels right now on fresh rubber compared to the others.
It's hard to beat a good offense, especially when you're in control of it. It makes your decision making a lot clearer. Obviously, that was a great night for us, and I'm looking forward to this Saturday. Hopefully, be able to repeat that effort.
By the way, while you guys were talking, I just watched Ty Gibbs move back up into third. Impressive, to say the least.
That's only 2 spots and 2 laps, Bob. He was running 5th about a minute and a half ago.
Sanchez back in the number 2 machine. There's Corey Heim. Heim pitted at the same time as Ty Gibbs. And Heim now up to 7th, battling for 6th with Sanchez in the 2.
Nick Sanchez on older tires trying to hang on here. Again, a top 5 car to this point for Nick Sanchez. Really impressive with what Steve Plattenberger and the entire Rev Racing team has brought in that Max Siegel Inc. Chevrolet. He's hanging tough with the car that has a lot better tires. Corey Heim, we talked about how Gibbs got through to 3rd. Heim's back here in 7th. Maybe he's perhaps saving a bit, not knowing how long this run will be. And Gibbs right on the back end now of that car and the driver we just talked to, Thad Moffitt. He's making his way through on older tires in the 46.
Austin, how much does air play into the handling when you got a car coming up on you as fast as Ty Gibbs and he gets up to your left rear quarter?
Well, I think Ty just learned he has to make use of these tires while they're still fresh. I think that's the first time he's gotten close to somebody and lost ground. So obviously Thad's been able to keep up pretty well with the 17 car, and each of these cars is going to get harder and harder to pass for Ty. So I think the urgency's there for him to make those passes soon.
Does this show you anything about maybe not stopping for tires at a certain juncture? Because Thad Moffitt and Taylor Gray have been able to hold pretty steady. We know how good that 18 car is, but they have really not lost much ground.
Well, it definitely depends on how many cars that are left on the lead lap here. We've lapped all the way up to 15th or 16th position, so that makes those pit strategy calls a little bit easier when you know that you only have to go through a few cars on the restarts. But I think all of the teams have learned what the strengths are on the new tires, but also he hasn't been able to drive, fly by him. I think Taylor's pulled away to a good lead, and it's going to take, at least 10 to 15 laps, I think, after Ty gets clear to really work over and pass Taylor if that happens.
15 cars currently on the lead lap. Cole Moore in the 99 is that final car. Ty Gibbs said, let me try the outside here now. Going to the tough way around Phoenix to the outside of the 46 of Thad Moffitt. Battle for a second. They got awfully close there going down the straightaway, but put the 18 back to second.
This race last March was 150 laps as well, the General Tire 150. And Thad Moffitt said it took him about 100 laps in that race to figure out where to pass, how to pass, and he felt he really did well the last 50. Well, now he's got a car that won the race last November with David Golan, and he's in a position now where he knows he's got a really good piece, and they have to kind of temper him back. I'm guessing he wants to race everybody, knowing those fresh tires does make it such a big difference with Corey Heim he's racing with there.
So Taylor Gray leads, but Mark McFarland might have played the right move here in terms of pitting at that juncture in which they did on the last caution, because now the caution flag is back out, and I can guarantee you that Taylor Gray, Drew Dollar, Thad Moffitt, a lot of those drivers will be coming down pit road.
Competition caution coming out on lap number 76. Again, it was not a guarantee we'd have this midway break, but that's a whole lot of track time. Austin, you love road course racing. We know how bad fast you are. That was kind of a road course move. Pit before the caution's coming out. Get your work done. In Ty's case, get the caution prior to what we know he can bank on to get all that track position back.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it played into the hands of the 18 car there. And I think what Ty just learned is what his car can do in traffic. And I think you're going to be able to see him work traffic much more efficiently throughout the night. Obviously, him pulling to the outside there in 1 and 2 to get that clean air and get the momentum to get around the 46 car. He's going to take that little nugget and take it further into the race.
So several of the teams that did not pit on the last caution coming down pit road. We will update you on what they did. Corey Heim also on pit road again here at Phoenix. By the way, Derek Kraus, the free pass car. Interesting developments here during caution for the ARCA Menards Series General Tire 150 at Phoenix Raceway in Arizona. Approaching this caution, it was Taylor Gray in the lead in the 17. Taylor did come down pit road, but now it appears as if he will receive a penalty from ARCA Menards Series officials.
Never good when you have an official standing there with his hand out saying you have to wait on my call to when you can get on the racetrack as the rest of the field rolls past him.
Let's find out what's going on with Dave Reef.
And that penalty is for fueling a car while changing tires at the same time. There was a little bit of confusion down here. As the guys started to change the tires, they went and put the first can of fuel into the car. Chad Johnston quickly realized that that second can wasn't going in, so that can came over the wall and began to be plugged into that fuel cell while they were still working on the tires. That is why he's being held here. So nervous moments here, and a scary moment also for Thad Moffitt as he did the big burnout after getting his new tires. That gas can still attached to his car, drug a couple of crew guys here into Taylor Gray's box, and that fuel cell actually ended up underneath the 17. So a lot of action right here, but a bad penalty for this team to take at this point in time. They got a good race car.
And Dave, a lot of interesting conversations going on between that team as well as ARCA Menards Series officials down there behind pit wall. Plenty has shaken out during this race here so far. 80 laps are now complete. Let's take a look in the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. Watch this on the first lap. Gracie Trotter, Zane Smith, contact down in turn number 1. A couple of cars hard into the wall.
Jack Wood, Tony Breiger, hard impact as well. They retired early in this one, and Ty Gibbs set the pace from the pole. Lost the lead for just a lap or so, and then went back to the point. And this is Drew Dowell racing in third with a lap car, the 0-1 of Hegerberg.
And unfortunately, he was hard into the wall. Look at this 3-wide racing. Ty Gibbs, after making a pit stop, the early race leader, marching his way back through the field. And by virtue of this latest round of pit stops, Ty Gibbs in that 18 car is back on top of the heap here, 81 laps in to this General Tire 150. It's been an interesting race so far. 69 laps to go. 4 cautions so far in this one. And Taylor Gray had led prior to this caution.
And a torrid pace set by the leaders, Taylor Gray and Ty Gibbs, to get all those cars a lap down. 30 cars in this race. We're looking at less than 10 now that are racing on the lead lap. Every caution will get a free pass car. The most recent, 2019 Series champ, Derek Kraus. So welcome back to the series, Derek. Holy cow, we're talking about stepping up the competition every chance these guys get on the racetrack. And Derek races full-time in the Truck Series, working with Bill McAnally Racing as a third entry here. Has now put his car back on the lead lap, and it's amazing to know how quickly the pace can be set. Just those 4 tires, they put on. He and Corey Heim pitted early. I mean, I'm speaking of Ty Gibbs now as I'm getting all caught up in what's going to play out. But Corey Heim didn't line up second in the race. Again, you don't lose any spots relative to those who pitted on pit road. Ty Gibbs did not pit. Nick Sanchez in the number 2 did not pit. The 28 of Kyle Sieg stayed out. The number 15 of Drew Dowell did pit. He was the first car on the lead lap to pit. So that means he's the first car restarting among the lead lap cars that did come to pit road. See the fresh tires on the left rear, that sticker on the tread? He's got his second set of General tires underneath that car already.
Still got 4 more in the pits, maybe for a little bit later on in this race for Drew Dollar and several other competitors. Corey Heim just behind him. Ty Gibbs will lead the field to the green flag here. Ty's got a busy schedule this year. He's got a bunch of racing with the ARCA Menards Series, as well as 15 races in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So, Austin, he'll be racing with you a bunch this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, he started off his Xfinity career pretty well, a little too well, if you ask me. No, he's done obviously a really great job. He's been able to tackle stuff head on and be successful at it in great equipment. So I'm sure he's pulling together a lot of information this evening to carry over into tomorrow's race. Seat time is really important, especially when you're as young as he is, and I'm sure he's going to use every single lap that he does tonight in the ARCA Menards Series to help him tomorrow.
So I know Zane Smith has done this, where he's raced in the ARCA Menards Series race the day before. He raced, I think, to 8th place in an Xfinity Series race here at Phoenix. Brandon Jones comes to mind, a Menards-sponsored driver. He actually raced, I think, 5 ARCA races on the same weekend as he's coming through to race in the Xfinity Series and finished top 10 in all 5 of those Xfinity races on that same weekend. Have you ever had the chance to do more than one division on a weekend, and how big of a help is that for these drivers?
Yeah, actually, the replay that you showed at the beginning of the show with me getting dumped out of the lead, that was my one time I've done double duty. But past that, no, it's definitely great to learn and feel the track changes.
Dave Reef, what is that Corey Heim team thinking right now?
Well, Shannon Mersch thinks he's addressed the tight conditions for him. And what kind of race car do you think you'll have now moving forward here as we get ready to go back to green?
Well, I hope I've got the balance a little closer for him. We're a second place race car at best right now, so felt like we had to make 2 stabs at it there. That's why I came back down to the halfway break, but we'll see when it goes back green here.
How's Corey doing behind the wheels? Is he complaining much, or is he pretty comfortable with the car minus just being able to catch the 18?
He doesn't complain a whole lot. Obviously, he's a really competitive person, so we try and do the best we can for him. So we need just a little bit here to be able to go up there and put a little pressure on the 18. So.
Corey, of course, going for that 3 in a row, winning the finale last year in Daytona a month ago.
Jim, it was interesting to hear what Shannon just said. Second place car at best. It's almost as if they've already conceded the fact that Ty Gibbs is going to win this race.
We have a little less than half a race to go. Ty raced here in the West Series finale last year, and I watched that lap after lap. David Gillen set the mark. He got up to 3rd, then he got to 2nd, then he got to Ty Gibbs, the race leader, and passed him because he used the traction on the outside of 1 and 2 and really made a lot of time, Austin. So there's a lot of races left. If he's conceding now, I'm guessing Shannon's going to gamble maybe. What can he roll with? Maybe a longer run and keep those tires for late? I don't know, but he's got to do something if he's already saying, hey, I'm a second place car, right?
Restarts. You love restarts. If you're not the best car, you love restarts. And I tell you what, my man on the front row here, Nick Sanchez, it's the first time all day he's seen clean air. I bet you he's going to sail it off into turn 1, trying to keep the track position there.
I think the key, like Austin was saying, these restarts, you have to attack. That's where, if you take a look at a driver like Kyle Busch, that's where he gained so many spots. Back in the day, Ron Hornaday in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, he was a restart ace. So these restarts, very, very critical. You see Nick Sanchez lining up on the outside, the second place car in that number 2 machine, with Ty Gibbs coming to the green flag this time by. And the start-finish line very quickly climbs right up there to you coming off of turn number 4. Gibbs the leader, but look at this melee right here. What a battle for second on back. 3 wide. Kyle Sieg trapped in the middle of a 3 wide battle for 3rd. Corey Heim to the inside. Sanchez is there as well.
Corey Heim certainly has his visor down as he tries the inside, this time successfully getting by Kyle Sieg. On the initial start, thank goodness to the Lucas Oil chopper, we saw how aggressive the 20 team was on that restart. Now we see Corey Heim right back behind the number 2 going down this straightaway behind Nick Sanchez in the 3rd position.
Hey, Austin, Kyle Sieg in that 28 car running very well, currently in 5th. He started 16th, and I think Kyle Sieg is the epitome of what the ARCA Menards Series is all about. Independent runner, doesn't have a lot of stock car experience, comes from a couple of seasons of late model racing, yet he's shining on the big stage of Phoenix tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. That family does a lot with a little, and it's fun to see Kyle come out here and have a good run, and hopefully he's able to finish it off. This is the most track position he's had tonight, and I'm sure he's doing everything he can to hold on to it.
Sanchez trying to hold on to that 2nd spot. Corey Heim dives to the bottom in that dog leg on the backstretch. Can he get the spot down in turns 3 and 4? He's trying to be glued to that yellow line, Austin.
I tell you what, I've seen actually Drew Dollar a couple times here be able to put his right sides in that traction compound. I know I keep talking about it, but when it comes on, it's on. And obviously the 2-car didn't lose the position there. So I'm interested to see how much. I mean, we've still got 62 laps of racing left, so I'm interested to see how much that's going to play a factor here, especially on those restarts when we're too wide.
Nick also said that he has the insights from Jefferson Hodges. He used to be the competition director here at Rev Racing. He said, man, I'm going to give him a call. He's with your team in the Xfinity Series, right, in Team Penske?
Yeah, Jefferson's obviously done a lot of great things with the diversity program. I get to work with them on a week-to-week basis, so it's definitely cool to see some of his guys continuing to run well. And as you see, that 20 car, he went up to the traction compound all by himself there. So I'm excited. I'm getting a little more excited. That's my second thing other than restarts is we got a car around here in 3 and 4.
Yellow flag does come out with Ty Gibbs about a 2-second lead, and unfortunately for Takuma Koga, he is the reason for the caution. He's made contact with the wall in the 7 car for Jerry Pitts Racing. 5th caution of this race comes at the lap 90 mark. That's a lot of damage to the backside of that race car. You're very high on Takuma Koga with this Jerry Pitts Racing team this year. You think they're going to have a lot of good runs in the West Series.
Takuma had a lot of good runs with Joe Nava Racing, and in terms of getting to 7th in points last year, he had 3 top 10 finishes, which adds to his total. He had just 6 top 10 finishes last year alone with that team. So I really like what they've done in progressing Takuma Koga here and pairing himself, getting into this ride, the Rise Up Toyota with Jerry Pitts. But unfortunately, that Turn 3 wall came up in a quick hurry for him tonight.
Maybe a little contact down there caused Koga to hit the wall. Under caution once again.
That's a battery. Dang it.
That's some debris.
Won't be able to refire that car to get it back to the pits anytime soon, I don't think.
No, going to have to get a tow or a push there. They'll pick that up before we go back green.
Wait a minute. He's back in the pits under his own power.
Might not be from Koga's car?
Yeah, maybe.
You got 2 batteries. You only need 1.
There you go. Picking up some debris as well. They're taking a look at this car because this is a points race for the ARCA Menards Series West as well. Combination event here, so this is very important to try to get him back out there.
I had a nice chat with Ron Drager, the president of ARCA, and he talked about this being the only race where the ARCA Menards Series West is racing for points with the ARCA Menards Series, and you get points for your finish position in both series. It's not a matter of who finishes where, and you get first place points if you're the highest in the division. They all get equal points, but this is really a time for the ARCA Menards Series to shine. And for these West drivers, hey, they've got a championship to run just like Austin did last November. They're coming back to be the 4th division on NASCAR Championship weekend here November 5 through 7 at Phoenix Raceway. So they want to get out and get some more notes for the return to what could be a championship run for Takuma.
Trevor Huddleston in the Sunrise Ford machine, currently in 14th. A little bit of a surprise. We expected that Bob Bricati car to be up there a little bit further into the top 10. So Huddleston struggling with that car. This is the number 20 machine. The 20 went to victory lane last year here at Phoenix in the debut for the ARCA Menards Series. Let's take a look at what occurred because it's very important to realize what happened here in last year's race. On the front row for this one, the 21 of Sam Mayer was able to grab that lead early, but then Ty Gibbs was able to grab that spot, dominate this race, lead the most laps. But then this is the crucial late race restart where the 20, that JBL car for Chandler Smith, took over and went to victory lane.
Ty ended up 3rd in that race on that final charge. Man, was he depressed and disappointed after leading 122 laps in a race he thought he had until that very, very late race caution.
Can the 20 do it again with some late race theatrics? Now with Corey Heim behind the wheel for Venturini Motorsports. There's one guy with a big target on his back, and that is Ty Gibbs in the 18 here at Phoenix. Closing in on 50 to go in the General Tire 150 for the ARCA Menards Series at Phoenix Raceway. Right now, it's all Ty Gibbs over Corey Heim. Nick Sanchez in that 3rd spot. Drew Dollar and Kyle Sieg rounding out the top 5. And Sanchez having a great run. Let's talk to him.
Nick Sanchez, Jim Trado in the MAV TV booth. You were able to hold off some good cars on fresher rubber. What's the thought now for this critical restart from 3rd?
Obviously, it's just all about the start. You know, trying to get a I feel like our car is a little better in the long run than short run, so it's just about maintaining track position on these restarts.
As you played out last year's race where you finished sixth, you said, man, I had a better car. I just kept making mental errors. How on point are you tonight, and what do you want on that race car to get the challenge for the lead here?
I feel like we might have something at the end to give him a challenge, but it's just all about keeping my nose clean and staying within striking distance by the end of the race.
Well, Nick, we wish you well. Good luck on this restart. Nick Sanchez, I'm telling you, he's got something for him. He was on older tires than Ty Gibbs and was able to hold off the number 20 of Corey Heim for several laps on that early portion of the race. And Bob, we're closing in already on 100 laps in this race. It's only 150. A lot of teams are sitting on 4 tires. Let's see how this race plays out. I think early on, yeah, you got to get the fire pit out in the infield. Absolutely.
I love how they've reconfigured this racetrack. Provides a lot of opportunities for fans to come to Phoenix Raceway, get a camping spot right up alongside the racetrack, get a campfire going, and have a great vantage point of this racetrack. They've spent so much money here, through the years. I remember coming back here way back when, 1997 was my first time to Phoenix, but this place has always held a special place for everybody from the open wheel crowd to the NASCAR ranks as well.
You need to come and watch this because every seat in the house is in the shade. You have your back to the sunshine to watch awesome racing here at Phoenix. And again, that championship weekend, the ARCA Menards Series West will be racing for their championship finale here in November, just like the 3 NASCAR National Series.
Let's get a quick report out of the 20 camp with Dave.
So in talking with Shannon Roche about now having Corey Heim, he says, okay, your driver did the work. He passed a bunch of cars. He's up to second. What can we expect out of this team now? And Shannon Roche told me, he says, clean air. That's going to be the key. He started to take a close look at the lap times, comparing him with the 20 car and the 18 of Ty Gibbs, and he saw those lap times starting to kind of get a little closer together. So whatever kind of run he can make here in clean air, he says, will give him an idea just how close he's getting to that 18. I asked him, I says, could you go the distance if you wanted? He says it's possible.
Austin, real quickly, what do you think about the chances for Corey Heim to attack and get that top spot here on this restart?
Well, I think if anyone can do it, it's him. I think he's been the most competitive compared to the 18 car. I feel like Ty's been really aggressive on these restarts in this restart zone. It's a very difficult spot when you're the outside car to time it because the track distance is so much longer. We'll see what he does here to manage.
Ty Gibbs, perfect cat and mouse game right there. Slowed up and took off. He's back to the front, and now Heim trying to fend off Sanchez in the 2.
Way down on the apron in turns 1 and 2. It's pretty flat, but so is the corner on the banking. Pretty flat. So getting a good run through there was Kyle Segan, number 28. He's in 5th, all the way down to the bottom through the 1st and 2nd corner.
Dollar in the 15 moves up to 3rd. Sanchez slips to 4th. Jesse Love now in that 16 machine to the outside, just momentarily, of Thad Moffitt. They are battling for 6th. The Bounty onboard camera. Watch as Jesse Love attacks this racetrack. He loses ground there, Austin, coming off the corner.
I tell you what, I'm got my eyes glued on this 20 car. He just went up into the traction compound all by himself with pressure behind him. I think Corey believes in it. So I'm excited to see how it comes in. If it's going to come in anywhere, it's 1 and 2. As you see, it goes up there again. I think these guys are going to key off that. The spotters are going to key off that. You know, Hal Martin, Ty Gibbs spotter, he's going to be telling them, look, you got to try this out, see what it is, because it's going to be very effective on restarts.
50 to go now, and to your point, Austin, once one goes and proves it, they'll all go up there to try to gain some ground. And oh my, did you see Sanchez wiggle off the corner? A big wiggle by Nick Sanchez in 4th.
If he finishes top 5, he's on my growing list of Reese's Sweet Moves of the race. What a save.
That is definitely a possible nomination for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race, because he had a whole lot of wheel coming off the corner and saved it. Nice move by Nick Sanchez.
Drew Dollar finished 2nd at Daytona to his teammate Corey Heim. He races right behind him right now. Drew Dollar is racing in the number 15. That team will be full-time with several drivers behind the wheel this year.
We've talked about one thing consistently through this racetrack, and that is the track itself. This place is unique. You take a look at it in the General Tire track information. Yes, it's 1 mile, D-shaped oval, slight banking, Those sports cars in USAC debuted back here in 1964, but NASCAR has been coming here since 78. I want to know from your perspective, Austin, that 8 to 11 degree banking, do you feel it as a race car driver behind the wheel?
Yeah, I mean, the two ends are completely different at this racetrack. It's what makes it really difficult for crew chiefs, and it makes it difficult for a driver to give the right feedback, because you could be, backwards loose in 1 and 2, but you could be plowing tight in 3 and 4, and to give the right feedback and understand where the cars are struggling is really hard for the crew chief and the driver to balance.
Taylor Gray trying to move his way through the field in the 17. He's a man on a mission right now. Led a little while ago before coming down pit road to hand that lead back to Ty Gibbs. Here's Jesse Love. Love currently in 7th.
And the car ahead of him was going to be Drew Dollar. Drew Dollar was racing right with Corey Heim, but he rolled the rim around the outside of turns 1 and 2 a lap ago. I just caught it on the Lucas Oil Chopper cam.
Yeah, Drew Dollar with problems on that right front. Take a look. Does he have a tire going down?
He rolled the wall all the way through turns 1 and 2. He tried to get up in that traction compound, got a little too high and paid the price.
After you hit the wall, Austin, and you're feeling something on that right front, how hard is it to diagnose exactly what's wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult, because you don't want to destroy your race car, but at the same time, I think Drew wants to stay on the lead lap as well. So it's definitely in the seat. You can't really make the call on the box as a crew chief, because you can only feel what's going wrong. Obviously, you haven't seen a tire go down on him yet, but maybe hit the wall hard enough to where he's got some suspension damage.
You look at that right front, you can see the damage. And there is Derek Kraus in the 19, battling with Joey East in the number 54. Kraus currently running now in 7th.
You may wonder, one more point about Drew Dollar. It's not a full-time drive for him, but it's a full-time team. And Billy Venturini is crew chief. Last year was a crew chief on the number 20 team. They had several drivers and won the championship as owners in this series. So there's more at play than Drew Dollar getting track time here tonight.
And Billy Venturini is hungry because he wants the championship back. Won the championship a couple of years ago with Christian Eckes, and now that Venturini Motorsports team with Corey Heim, after only one race, the point leader, he's keeping Ty Gibbs very close in 2nd. Ty Gibbs finished 4th in the first race, so it's going to be a close fight for the championship all year between these two.
Right on board with Trevor Huddleston back in 14th, not on the lead lap. We're looking at how the West Series plays out. Cole Moore is running 11th ahead of him. Todd Souza is running 8th. So as we run through this race, the whole idea of who's the best of the West, when they race for the championship here, who are they gauging off of? We'll see some interlopers in the ARCA Menards Series, as we've had in the past 2 years in November, for the ARCA Menards Series drivers to come west, including Ty Gibbs, who came out here. We saw a lot of drivers, Nick Sanchez, come out here and do that. So in terms of how the West Series stacks up, we were riding on board with Trevor. He'll have some work to do back at 14th here to get those notes to where he wants them to come back for their final race on the West Series in November.
Thad Moffitt in the 46 is 5th. Just before him is the 28 of Kyle Sieg. And there is the car that is dominating this portion of the race, just like he had in the 3 previous races here. Last year, we documented how he led the most laps in the ARCA Menards Series event last spring here. Wound up 3rd after a late race restart. He also has a win here a couple of years ago in a West race, as well as 3 podium runs in 3 attempts.
It's amazing. And that same weekend, Denny Hamlin won the Cup race, so Gibbs was rolling high, and they are so high on this young driver. Yes, he has the same last name as the Hall of Fame coach, Joe Gibbs, and team owner, but Ty really has proved, give me something to run with. And Mark McFarland told us early in the race with Dave Reef, if he's quiet on the radio, and I tell you, they keep reminding him to speak up, because if he's in the zone, he doesn't really think about it. He's not in the car talking all the time, but when he does say stuff, he's so focused, they keep reminding him, hey, speak up. What do you want in the car? And if he's asking for a little bit, he knows exactly what he wants in that race car, and he's got it tonight with Mark McFarland on the wrenches.
Jesse Love now up 1 spot in 6th. He's part of the Bill McAnally racing team. But Bill McAnally also has something interesting going on to help train young drivers. It's called the BMR Drivers Academy. And several young drivers from around America, including JoJo Wilkinson, part of that academy this year. She has run pro late models in the Southeast. And now, because of what Bill McAnally is doing, giving her the opportunity and many other drivers to get that seat time, that off-track training. They got a group of aspiring drivers. It's a 16-week program, 40-race grind, opportunities in the ARCA West as well as the Truck Series.
And those drivers are racing head-to-head. And at certain points in the year, whoever's leading the points will get a chance to run in the ARCA Menards Series West. And we might see a teammate to Derek Kraus come November here in the Truck Series for this team. So there's a lot on the line, developing 14 drivers of different ages, different backgrounds, all in a classroom setting, trying to beat each other on the racetrack over those 16 race weekends.
And I'm excited because it begins in late March at All-American Speedway in Roseville, California. That's the track that Bill McAnally owns. Here is one of his drivers, Derek Kraus. Kraus in 7th.
Kraus will be one of the advisors. They brought in the team initially, and Derek said yes, he'll have some work to do with those drivers. So they're getting marketing help, they're getting sponsorship help, they're getting camera time to analyze their interviews. And Derek Kraus is very much part of this program. Cole Moore as well is one of those 14 drivers, already a full-timer in this series. So he's aiming for wins and points to get another shot, maybe in the Truck Series in November here.
Ty Gibbs, nothing short of sensational for this team. Mark McFarland on top of the box, calling all the shots. They played the strategy right. But take a look at these stats for Ty Gibbs in just 28 starts, 8 total ARCA wins. And this is what's impressive. You talk about consistency. This is impressive. 20 top 5 finishes, Austin.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a great team, but it also takes a driver that's willing to do it. And Ty hasn't put a wheel wrong tonight. I think he learned a little bit on that one of those first restarts in the race, and past that, I don't think you've seen any weaknesses from him. He's been able to do well in the restart zone. I think he's started to manage traffic really well at this point in the race, and you start to think about, okay, what's going to go wrong now? You're sitting Ty Gibbs, you're doing everything right. What's going to happen that's not in my control? We saw the replay of the race here that he lost. That haunts a driver. You don't want that to happen again. And obviously he's done everything right. His team's done anything right. It's in these 33 laps. So what do we need to do to finish this off?
On 29 older tires, by the way. Everybody else has fresher rubber, and he's still pulling away. Wow.
The battle beginning to brew a little bit here for 4th, guys. We keep our eyes peeled on that 28 of Kyle Sieg, and Thad Moffitt is catching him. I still am so impressed with Sieg. And the reason why I say this is because I watched him in late model action. He was okay. He wasn't one of those guys that you would say would be a threat for victory every single race. But at the same time, he comes over here to the heavier stock cars, and with some help from Bruce Cook, he's got that car dialed in, and as a rookie is really turning in some great performances in the first 2 races of the season.
And we know how big of a deal the Snowball Derby is, one of the crown jewels of Super Late Model Racing. He finished 20th in his only try, and he made the show and finished 20th, which says a lot to me about a part-time schedule, making the most of that.
Drew with trouble in the 9 car. That's his teammate Trevor Huddleston in the 6. Huddleston rides 13th, but Drew in the 9 pulled to the apron here. We'll see if he's able to keep on going. He goes by the start-finish line now right in front of our tower, and there he is in that Sunrise Ford machine for Bob Mercati and Sanchez. Sanchez in the wall. Nick Sanchez running 3rd, those older tires, and he has some hard contact. That's going to put him out of the show. Wow, major damage to that Max Siegel Incorporated machine for Nick Sanchez.
He's running 3rd at the time, Bob. Wow.
Ty Gibbs leading here at Phoenix, and what a year it was for him last year, garnering 6 total victories, including 1 at Winchester Speedway on the high banks. Can he pick up his first victory in the ARCA Series this year tonight?
The ARCA Menards Series is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Richmond Water Heaters, the water heater experts. Hers, forever good. And by Sioux Chief, America's manufacturer of plumbing, drainage, supply, and support products.
Under caution at Phoenix Raceway for the ARCA Menards Series in the General Tire 150. 25 laps to go in this one. Ty Gibbs leading, but what's going to shake down here under this caution? That is the big question, Jim Trado, in regards to what's going on. By the way, we're under caution because Nick Sanchez, there's the remains of his race car, hard contact with the wall. We'll check to see what we found out. We were told there was possible contact that might have contributed to Sanchez getting into the wall. You can see it was a hard lick, and when he climbed out, he was frustrated, Jim. He was shaking his head.
He's looking for a driver, too, to share his displeasure with. We didn't quite catch who may have been involved, but he was standing by his car. Thank goodness he got out okay. But hard impact for a driver who's racing full-time in this series. They put a big investment in Max Siegel to put some Chevrolets under these guys that have good pedigree with Brett Holmes Racing. They sold a lot of their inventory off to Bill McAnally Racing to start his Bill McAnally Racing Academy. So that inventory is fresh to the team, and that's a big blow for this team that's going to go full-time. There's a lot of short tracks they want to race this car at, and they'll have to do a whole front clip and more to get this car ready to go for the rest of the year.
And he's battling for a championship. He's one of the full-time competitors this year in the ARCA Menards Series. So I'm sure a very disappointing outcome for Nick Sanchez here, who had ran as high as second in this race and looked very good. The competitors now are going to be stopped on the racetrack up in turns 1 and 2, and there is Nick looking at his race car. You can see him just still shaking his head. That's got to be one of the worst feelings in the world, Austin.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal situation. I think Nick was doing a great job all night. He touched on having a good long run car, and that was looking to be a long run for him. So I don't know if he had enough to beat Ty Gibbs tonight, but to run top 3 in this field is obviously great, and obviously really frustrated with that outcome.
We're talking to Austin Cindric, the winner for Team Penske in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race here last year at Phoenix. And nice to hear your perspective in regards to what we're seeing in this race. Now, with 25 to go, you keep on talking about that, that traction compound up there in the corner. Do you think it's going to come into play, or are these guys just too leery of going up there?
I think it'll play a factor on restarts. In turns 1 and 2, that exit comes up really fast. That wall sharpens really hard. So if you're able to have momentum off the top and just stay in the game with the leader, I think it can pay dividends. Someone like Corey Heim, I've been interested because just listening to his crew chief as well as watching him drive tonight, you can tell that he knows he needs a little bit more to beat Ty. And that's why I think you've seen him move up to the traction compound. He hasn't made the lap time up there, but he knows what it's done. He knows what his car is capable of up there. And I think that's something that few of these guys, including the 18 car, haven't done tonight. So I think he's got that in his back pocket for later here in the race.
A lot of drivers talking on the radio right now, talking about what might transpire here. Will drivers come down pit road? There is a lot of decisions to make here, Jim Trado, in regards to what's going to play out in this caution.
Going to jump in on the radio of Jesse Love, the number 16 driver. He and his crew chief, Travis Sharp, talking this entire caution. Jesse, you've got yourself in position to run 5th right now. What do you want in this race car, and will it require a pit stop to get what you need?
Yeah, I think right now we're just looking for some overall rear grip all the way around, and we fire off really well, and we found ourselves in a good position, I believe, in the top 5, and 5th. So we just got to keep working on this number 16 Napa Auto Parts Toyota Camry, and we'll get her to the front. We know we got our short run speed there. We're just working on some long run stuff right now.
In the races you've run here, one was to win the championship by taking the checkered flag or the green flag last November. That one doesn't really count for getting track notes because you did what you needed to do to win the championship. You had a fast car the first time here. What do you enjoy about this racetrack? Does it remind you of your dirt days when you ran 60 or 70 dirt races last year at a given moment?
Yeah, Phoenix Raceway, such a unique racetrack and a really unique driving style to be fast here. So, everybody's been really aggressive tonight, and the track's in pretty good shape. The PJ1's a lot of fun to run when you get to run it. So we'll just keep searching here and try to keep our Napa 16 in the top 5 here, and maybe put ourselves in position to win if things get a little rowdy up here.
We'll let you guys get back to conferring under this caution. Again, they were doing a lot of chatting, so Jesse, thanks for taking some time to join us.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Jesse Love and his crew chief, Travis Sharp, they're talking to him, hey, we want to come to pit road. We want to get this car fixed. And they didn't know when their opportunity would come. And now they have a time to talk about it. So I'll let them back to it, racing for a West championship.
An aggressive racing schedule for Jesse Love this year between the stock cars and the ARCA Wars West and the Elite Series, as well as in super late models. There is Drew Dollar. You see that damage to the right side of the car, Austin, during the break. We were talking about he's dropped to on the latter part of the top 10 in 8th, 1 lap down. After he hit the wall up there in the corner, he kind of rode the fence a little bit. It didn't have a tire go down, but it certainly slowed him up a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, I think with these guys, they got to come in and figure out what went wrong here, why he lost so much speed, because I think this is the best opportunity for them to diagnose that and put themselves in a position, whether if it's strategy-wise or whatever else, because he had a fast race car and he also had the best tires. So I was looking for him to maybe drive through the field and contest with that 18 car, and maybe that's why you saw that urgency from him to move up in the traction compound.
And here's the key thing, Jim. Because he's the first car lap down, he's the free pass car. He's getting back on the lead lap.
Well, there's a different sequence then. You can't pit immediately. He wants to pit as soon as he can. We know that likely the tires are going down if they're still on all 5 lug nuts. The way he pounded that wall in turns 1 and 2, we could see how deep it went just by how deep that blue wall paint is in the right front wheel of that number 15. We saw the rear tail damage too, so he didn't just go and nick it with the right front. It got wrapped big time. Left, right rear, and right front. So they want to come to pit road, but as the free pass car, you're not able to pit with the lead lap cars the first time by. You get the wave around, and then you get a chance to come to pit road. So he's got to keep that car straight for a couple more laps once we get back rolling and the pits do open.
20 races in all make up the ARCA Menards Series season. 19 tracks in 15 different states. Next up for the ARCA Menards Series, the Super Speedway, Talladega, baby, in Alabama, with the General Tire 200. You can watch that race on FS1. That is on April 24th.
It's on a Saturday right before the Xfinity race. So, Austin, we'd love to have you. You know, if we were doing the show, FS1 has it, but you might be a little busy that day because I think it runs right before your Xfinity race at Talladega.
Yeah, I'll be a little bit busy, but Talladega is obviously a fun one. Hopefully, get to enjoy watching that race. That place is like a drag strip in the shape of a circle, so it'll be fun to watch these guys navigate that.
We are anxious to get back to the short tracks as well, and the kickoff for the Sioux Chief Showdown will come on Saturday, May 22nd. In the Buckeye State of Ohio with the Toledo 200 live on MAV TV. That's always a fun place because there's plenty of rooting and gouging, but yet that half-mile facility is pretty quick.
One of my favorite racetracks. No give on the bottom apron because there isn't one. You get your lefts off too far, you're going to go in the grass, and it drops off a little bit. It's a half-mile track, worn out. You got to keep your speed up on the backstretch into turn 3. I cannot wait to get back to Toledo Speedway, back on the calendar in the ARCA Menards Series, May 22nd.
All right, maybe you want to go to the fridge, grab a pop, grab a water, some popcorn. You're going to want to get excited for this, get pumped up, because the final 25 laps of this race should be awfully interesting for the ARCA Menards Series here in the Valley of the Sun.
This is Ryan Blaney, driver number 12 Menards Ford Mustang in the NASCAR Cup Series, and you're watching the ARCA Menards Series on MAV TV.
Ryan Blaney, one of the Menards drivers, part of Team Penske, pseudo-teammate to Austin Cindric, who joins us in the booth. I am Bob Dillner. Alongside of me, Jim Trado, Dave Reef on pit road.
Ryan Blaney raced an ARCA race at Michigan. I will never forget what he did. We talk about searching for lines. Ryan Blaney with then Cunningham Motorsports put it on him. Had the fastest car in practice, went to the top shelf before anybody else did. That kind of development also helped him. One big factor in Ryan Blaney's getting to Cup was here at Phoenix Raceway. He won an ARCA Menards Series West race and really a family-run team with his dad, Dave, and that got him noticed. Tommy Baldwin put him in an Xfinity car. Then he got more chances. He got to race in the Truck Series with Brad Keselowski. Ryan Blaney is another driver that we like to say made some time here in the ARCA Menards Series and made it worth his effort because he ran some big tracks, but that Michigan run he had a pit road infraction that he had to come back to the field. Otherwise, he probably won that one going away. So I'm saying I'm glad to see Ryan Blaney saying welcome back to the series because he was a big impression maker, and that racing experience really helped him get to the Cup level.
That victory for Ryan Blaney came back in 2011 in a West Series race. Let's go find out what's going on pit road with Dave Reef.
Well, the cars have fired behind us now, which means Billy Venturini's crew is going to get to work on that 15. Of course, the Venturini family is so important in this sport, the long tenure that this family has. And I got to tell you, I love watching you be a crew chief. You're up, you're down, you're over here, you're around there. You're like me, you have ADD. Well, can you add up enough stuff to make the 15 stick on this lead lap?
We're going to get back on the lead lap because of the Lucky dog. We should be decent. We're not going to really try to fix it because we're afraid if we try to fix it, we're going to pull the string and it's going to unravel, man. So we're going to just, it's gotten really tight after we hit the wall. We're going to adjust on that, put some tires on it, and just do the best we can, see if we can't get us a top 5 or 6 finish. You know, race car was really good tonight, and Drew was doing an awesome job, and he just got in a little high and bounced off the wall.
Back to work.
Thank you.
So Drew Dollar going to be back on the lead lap in that 15 machine. Billy Venturini, former winner in ARCA. And let's take a look at what happened to Drew Dollar. Austin, we've been talking about this so many times, and here's the Auto Park It replay of what happened from the Lucas Oil chopper.
Yeah, it just seemed like he got on entry there a little too hot, and the grip seemed to have enough in the traction compound, but not that much. Couldn't slow him down that much, and obviously he got into the wall, and pretty hard contact there, pretty sharp angle on the right front. Just riding the edge there, trying to figure out where the grip is in the traction compound, and trusted it maybe a little bit too much there.
And the way he angled into the corner, you think he was trying to get to it, but he may not have had the right entry point because it seemed like he almost crossed over the grip level changes.
Yeah, I mean, dirt racing term when you jump the cushion. You know, he jumped right over it and right into the wall. So that's the difficult part about driving these ARCA Menards Series cars and trying to figure out that traction compound is that there's a certain grip level, and once you go past it, the rest of it's unactivated, and you obviously end up in the fence and having fixed damage.
He's got a race ahead of him here if he's not coming to pit road. This 15 car, a lot of damage he's going to fight through.
I'm still looking at Corey Heim to see what he can do on a restart after what shakes down here. And Corey Heim is a driver with a little bit of momentum. At the end of last year, Corey Heim with Venturini Motorsports, he winds up, with a great run at Kansas, getting to victory lane. It was an unbelievable run for him in the 10 car. Something you don't see out of the Venturini Motorsports stables, but they celebrated in victory lane. And then Daytona, a big win for that Georgia driver.
Huge win for Corey Heim. Again, 1-2 finish for Venturini Motorsports, and they've done it now 3 of the last 4 years, getting into victory lane, qualifying on the pole. They really excel at tracks like that, but for Corey, it's a reset for him. He's got a lot going on. He said there's some news coming. He's going to run some super late models and late models this year and the full ARCA Menards Series schedule, but there's more on the horizon with this young driver, just 18 years of age, out of Marietta, Georgia. He's got some attention, and he's backing up the idea that put some risk on me. I can do this with his friends at TRD and Jack Irving, and there's something coming down pit road called a pit stop of our 2 race dominators thus far, Bob.
Yeah, we figured this was going to happen. Ty Gibbs, Corey Heim, 1 and 2 on the racetrack, come down pit road. They have another 4 tires at their disposal, and then they can add fuel to, just not at the same time.
Yeah, that move really took Taylor Gray out of the running here. We now see them both come to pit road, as is the number 16 of Jesse Love, who we spoke with. Fuel, then tires, or vice versa, but not at the same time as the rule in ARCA Menards Series.
Shannon Rush calling the shots for this JBL audio team. There is the 19 of Derek Kraus. Kraus now up to 4th. Good run for the kid out of Wisconsin.
He had a free pass to get him back on the lead lap, and then he came back to pit road for Bill McIntyre Racing. He's doing more than R&D here. He wants to win this thing. He's coming back here in November to race for what could be a Truck Series championship. Full-time effort in the 2nd year for this 19-year-old out of Stratford, Wisconsin.
What a run for Derek Kraus last year in the Truck Series at Darlington. That was just super special.
1 restart away from winning it with Ben Rhodes, and Derek had never raced at Darlington. And it's one of those deals where you show up and race. He looked really, really good. He finished 2nd in that race that day, and it certainly was a highlight for this young driver who's been really quick at learning at every level. I first came across him as a 14-year-old in the Midwest Truck Series, and he was a 2nd faster than anybody else on the high banks at Slinger Super Speedway, and I was like, ooh, who's this kid? And then he got out of the truck, and he was about half the height of the roof.
And he raced the Snowball Derby at 12 years old. He looked like he was like 8. Okay, it was incredible. And it's been neat to see his progression behind the wheel, the maturity that he has shown. And he is a protege of Ty Majeski.
Oh, yeah.
And we know how good Ty Majeski is. It doesn't matter what he runs. Another driver from Wisconsin, a winner in the ARCA Menards Series with Chad Bryant Racing a couple of years ago.
Derek Kraus and this team trying to stay on lead lap here. Again, getting that best position possible. We're getting word now from Dave Reef on pit road that he may be coming back to pit road They already made a couple of pit stops under one caution, but that was for a chassis adjustment in this NGK spark plugs number 19. Again, this is the third car for Bill McAnally Racing. They're only going to run 2 full-time in 2021 in the ARCA Menards Series West with Cole Moore and Jesse Love. Yep, back to pit road comes Derek Kraus. He was the first driver out of the playoffs last year. He knows how important it is to get well and get in position to race here in the playoffs onto the championship for November.
And listen, track position is important, but with a limited amount of cars on the lead lap, you'll have 8 overall. To make sure they get the adjustments that they want, Austin, on this race car, I think that's very important for Derek Kraus. Kraus had climbed to 4th. We hadn't talked about him all that much, but maybe with the right adjustments, maybe he's got one shot to get to that lead.
Yeah, I think they know that a short run is going to be able to help them win this race. I think Derek's going to have to rely on some of his experience in the Camping World Truck Series to be able to get some track position and establish himself at the front of the field. So I think that could be maybe what's inspiring this, or otherwise just making sure that 19 car is perfect for him.
Changing the left side tires down, that Bill McAnally Racing ride, the number 19. The question is, can Ty Gibbs be beat? And the answer is, if you look back to last year, yes, he can. Because all it takes is one mistake. And Ty knew he made that ever so slight mistake on the final restart last year, and it cost him the victory. So for anybody watching at home, you could say, this one's over. Maybe not. Not so fast, because anything can happen.
Ty has cataloged those moments. One of them came at the Daytona Road Course last August, the ARCA Menards Series race. He was leading going away. Things bunched up. Michael Self pressured him. He wheel hopped in turn 6, the turn coming back on the oval of NASCAR 1. And he forever beat himself up from that point to the end of the season. It was weighing on him. Austin, how do you just kind of put that behind him? Ty Gibbs aside, how do you put things behind you that somewhat are in your control but out of your control by just small little things going wrong?
Well, you definitely use that as your motivation, that's for sure. So I'm sure he's approached this race with that motivation, and he more than anybody else remembers those moments, that you're not able to capitalize and win the race. So and I think from a competitor standpoint, I've watched Ty Gibbs get a bunch of really great restarts tonight in that restart zone, but he's jumped really early, and I think people are starting to realize that. The other drivers around him are starting to realize that, and I think Ty's going to have to change some things up on his restarts, or even perfect what he's been doing even further.
But Ty Gibbs is going to line up behind a couple of cars here. Not coming down pit road, Thad Moffitt in the 46 and Todd Souza in the 13. Souza has been all sorts of out of shape and has done a whale of a job to save that car. So this might be some precarious moments on this restart.
This is a huge moment for Todd Souza and the number 13 team. I mean, he's raced full-time the NASCAR West Series, now the ARCA Menards Series West, and looking at how he's had 88 races to his credit, Bob, since 2006. He ran the NASCAR Southwest Series for 5 years prior to that. So seeing a veteran like that perform at this level, he's had 9 other starts here, but he's not been in the hunt this late in the race to get a top 5 finish, much less the win.
Let's get an update on what's going on with the 19 car with Dave Reef.
Now, they continue to be a great story. So many trials and tribulations, including another one just now. Team went to work on the right side. Big major changes. Actually had a broken track mount bar on the back right side that kind of ate up most of that first pit. And that's why they had to come back and then change those left side tires. So that's the story with the 19. It gives back a couple of positions, but it's still in a good position.
Well, as Dave Reef was given that report, you should have seen our faces up here in the booth. Austin, that's something big on that race car that needed to be fixed.
Yeah, I wonder how long that's been that way, because if it's been that way for a while, Derek's been up on the wheel. That's not a fun situation to be in. So he's obviously buried here a little bit, and we've got 2 Fords here on the restart, and Ty's got to figure out how to navigate this traffic quickly.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs is going to have to try to part the seas here because he's got Thad Moffitt and Souza on the front row, Souza on the outside in that 13 machine. He's got the numbers on the quarter panels with a big sponsor there on the door car, which they allow here with this series. A new style, something that we might see in the upper echelons of NASCAR in the coming years. We'll find out. Back to green here at Phoenix. Souza spins the tires. Well, that didn't take long. From third to first in 2 corners. Ty Gibbs back to the lead. Kyle Sieg now in second. But it doesn't last long. Corey Heim in that Venturini number 20 now gets by Sieg. He's in second. Now just wondering what he might be able to do to try to close the ground on the dominator, Ty Gibbs.
And Austin, you can speak to this. It's so hard to get on the cycle of the race pace setter. Ty Gibbs and Corey Heim came to pit road first. Now they've got those tires late. It's hard to match that like Ty. We just saw they ate up the front row starters on that restart because of the fresh tires.
Yeah, honestly, that was a really great opportunity for Corey, and there was nothing he could do there with that 13-car spinning the tires on the restart. I think that's probably the best opportunity he's had all night to establish track position ahead of Ty. So now he's got to do it the hard way and run him down into green. I think Kyle Sieg also got a really great restart. I'd like to see how he made up all those spots. He's been running really well and obviously established track position, and now he's got better tires than the guys behind him. So he's solidly in the top 3 here tonight.
We just showed you the 6 car, and I tell you what, he is having a great run. Trevor Huddleston now up to 10th, so he's starting to climb back through the field. Unfortunately, he is a couple laps down, but he is the 2nd car on that particular lap. The only other car 2 laps down is Taylor Gray in the 17, who led laps early in this race. Kyle Sieg in that 28. Will he compete the entire season with the ARCA Menards Series? The team is committed to the first few races, and then they will evaluate. Well, a fifth place run at Daytona was pretty special. And now to back it up, that speaks volumes about what Kyle and this team are able to do.
12 laps to go, and the number 16 of Jesse Love trying to battle out and get 5th place away from Todd Souza, who's rebounded the Central Coast Cabinets number 13. The team he and his wife own.
Oh, close-quartered racing on board the Bounty camera for Jesse Love in the 16. There's Huddleston in the 6 machine moving to the inside of Souza. Souza, one of only 8 cars on the lead lap. Nice shot from our General Tire onboard camera.
Great to have the inside side of Austin Cindric join us in the booth. I just love listening to how he feathers the gas all the way through the corner. Get on the gas, lay off, don't let the rear end brake loose. That's got to be pretty cool to listen for a change, Austin, outside the race car for you.
Well, you're just watching one of the most difficult positions to be in NASCAR. As you see the 13 get right on his door. That is the worst position to be in as the inside car because it takes all the side force away. You could hear him feathering the throttle, and it's because you have no grip anymore. And he's got to rely on, just the mechanicals of the car, and he got really loose there, and he's going to lose a few spots to Derek Krauser.
10 to go. 10 to go at Phoenix. Ty Gibbs now with a more than a 2-second advantage over Corey Heim.
Just ahead there, red number 54, Joey Easton, his ARCA debut, sits 13th.
There is Drew Dollar, the final car in the lead lap. Derek Kraus has already moved by him, and now Souza. So Kraus in the 19, now moving up to 6th. Todd Souza has been so much fun to watch. Again, this is one of these situations where, a lot of drivers, they, aspire to go run in the upper echelons of NASCAR, and the ARCA Menards Series makes that opportunity a possibility. Dave Reeve, what do you got?
Guys, it's starting to sprinkle down here, bordering on rain. What will that have? What kind of impact will that have? Oh boy, hold on.
All right, Austin. Yellow flag is out, maybe for some sprinkles with 7 laps to go.
I guess if you're Ty Gibbs, you hope it either just pours, because these restarts, this is where it gets hard for him.
And Joey East in the number 54 winds up spinning. Now we'll look to this racetrack, and with Phoenix, you can see it when it rained earlier. This track really gets a sheen to it on this smooth pavement.
Joey Easton, his first long race, if you will, on a big track. We saw Ty Gibbs just wiggle a little bit when the track maybe got a little too moist, and didn't really know what happened to Joey Easton. Again, was running 13th, not on the lap at the time of the spin, but as he spun, and we talked to Dave Reef about the showers, that could have all played into him just losing traction momentarily, getting back on the gas to try to stay in position. He was doing the bottom run down the dog leg. He's learned a ton tonight, but that might have been a new experience for this young 18-year-old out of Madera, California.
Another teenager, 15-year-old Taylor Gray, was 2 laps down. He'll get the free pass and now move to the only car 1 lap down in ninth.
Gray had a great car, still does, the Ripper Coffee Company Ford, but unfortunately on pit road, the team engaged the gas can while they're changing tires, which is a 2-lap penalty. So while he has pace, he needs another quick caution perhaps to get back on lead lap and contend here.
Austin Cindric with us in the booth. He'll compete in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race here live at Phoenix Raceway tomorrow. But Austin, one thing that we should note, that 18 car, we keep on talking about maybe the chances that a Kyle Seeger or Corey Heim have on these restarts. If Ty Gibbs keeps up his performance on restarts, nobody's got anything for him because he's been so dynamic on the restarts throughout this race.
Yeah, he's been able to get him cleared before they even get to the start-finish line. So I think Ty understands what he needs to do in the restart zone there. And the lucky thing for Corey Heim, he's been able to be the victim to that every time. And by the lucky thing, I mean, he's been able to learn a lot. I think Ty's been teaching him a lot tonight, and we'll get to see if Corey's able to apply what he's learned. And talk about Kyle Sieg, I mean, he's got a chance to win this race. I mean, whether if those two guys go in side by side and take each other out, or if we see Kyle go use that dog leg, so it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited for the restart. Should be a good battle here to the end.
5 laps to go right now for Corey Heim. Let's just talk about him a little bit, Austin. He wins Daytona. He's battling with Ty Gibbs for the championship. He's in second to Ty Gibbs. How much is that on your mind as far as the full season picture?
Yeah, you definitely have to keep the big picture in mind instead of just chasing after wins. Obviously, it'll be a good points night for him, one way or the other. But man, when you're in this seat, you need a reminder. You need someone on the pit box to tell you, hey, remember the big picture here. But I think Corey's done a really great job tonight. We've seen him search around on the racetrack and talked about how this could be a catalyst for him using that traction compound, using that second lane, and we'll be able to see if he trusts that enough on this restart, if he gets the launch to stick with the 18 car.
Another catalyst on the outcome of this race, or at least the conclusion, might be Mother Nature. Dave Reef, how about a report?
Well, you guys are talking about reminders from the pit boxers, reminders from Ty Gibbs' pit box, from his spotter up top. The continued talk about enough rain, that they're a little concerned going back to green here, but that's exactly what we're going to do. So they are reminding him, take it easy through 1 and 2. Don't give it away on a slippery track.
Caution lights come back on, Dave, as you said that, and I was watching the pace car. That's the only car with working headlights. All the other cool 5-star bodies have decals for headlights, but the headlights were shining on the track, and the track was shining back on that Chevy Camaro pace car. So I wonder how wet the track really is. Good call by the ARCA officials to just see one more time around before he may cause a big issue if the track's too wet in certain parts to continue.
The evaluation process ongoing right now. We'll take a look at that pace car and see if the lights go off as they cross the start-finish line off of turn number 4. And there is the line. We'll be going back to green flag racing. Doesn't appear so just yet. You see the cactus as part of the finish line and that flag stand. That's a neat thing that Phoenix Raceway has added with the yellow lights, or the green lights to indicate what we're going to have going on.
Yeah, when it's green, it's green. When it's yellow, and there's like 60,000 LED lights in there.
Pretty cool.
It is really cool.
We didn't talk about Rattlesnake Hill, too, by the way.
You can go up there anytime you want, Bob, and I'll watch you go.
Listen, I was up there yesterday at the top of that hill, and it's a great vantage point. Austin, you ever get up there on Rattlesnake Hill to check things out?
I've been inside the racetrack up until this point every time I've been here. So I tell you what, of all the things that they've done to this racetrack since they reconfigured, I think the coolest thing is when you drive down the main road to come here, and they've moved the grandstands from what is now the back straightaway to 3 and 4 here, you get to see this beautiful stadium atmosphere atmosphere. And obviously we've got a great fan zone in the infield. Looking forward to getting all the people back here, especially during NASCAR Championship weekend. I think they've done a great job with this facility recently.
So what do you think of the perspective, being that this is the first time for you out of the infield, looking at the whole track? I've been watching you look at the monitors, but also look around this racetrack to see how everything plays out.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot play out right here. We got lights out. We got a questionable racetrack and a few guys really hungry to win that have been watching the back of that 18 car all race. And Ty Gibbs is doing an incredible job on these restarts. And we'll see what Corey Heim can do. And Kyle Sieg, he's got a shot, man.
Don't spin the tires. I'm sure that's what all the crew chiefs are reminding these drivers. But that's hard when you're a guy like Corey Heim on the outside with Ty Gibbs, who has been so strong on these restarts. He wants a shot for the win. Championship picture, yes, in play as well, because the top two in the championship equation will lead the field back to the green.
Down the backstretch, they've done all the weaving they can do. Corey Heim's going to have to rely upon where Ty Gibbs doesn't go. We know Ty's going to hug the inside rail, but how much can Corey Heim and that white number 20 hold him down to try to get that lead for the first time in a restart tonight?
Green, white checker finish here for the ARCA Menards Series at Phoenix Raceway, and a great jump by Ty Gibbs once again. Heim hanging with them this time. This is the final lap. Final lap. Can Corey Heim get it?
Looking for a crossover here. Good momentum by the 18 car.
Coming down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. He's got one more shot. Heim closes in on the back bumper, drifts high. He's not going to be able to stop him. Ty Gibbs wins in the Valley of the Sun. His first victory in the ARCA Menards Series in the second race of the season.
Great restart. Coming back to what would be the only lap of green flag racing, Dean Thompson did spin on the back of the pack in turn 3. He's now getting it righted in his first trip around Phoenix. And for Ty, it's a big win. Big win on the season. It's his first full season in the ARCA Menards Series. And here he rolls, almost in perfection. That team called it right. They got everything they wanted out of the car. Ty didn't ask for much, and man, they are rolling to victory lane.
9th career victory in the ARCA Menards Series for the driver out of North Carolina, the grandson of Coach Joe Gibbs. And now it's time for some donuts here at Phoenix.
He's getting pretty good at this, isn't he?
He is. He's had a little practice. Second victory of the season for Ty Gibbs. The first came on the road course of Daytona in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in his first series start. Wow, that's like John Force-esque.
He's gone. I can't see him from up here.
Grab a Snickers. It's going to be a while, boys.
Look at that rubber behind that race car. He's got a pile behind the left rear. That is a nomination for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. He's burning it down.
I think we're going to see some excitement.
Ty Gibbs climbs out victorious.
Chase Elliott could do it. Why not Ty? The car's rolling backwards. He's on the door.
Gibbs climbs back in. A little pump of the chest. He was definitely the man to beat here. Did not luck into this one whatsoever. Ty Gibbs, pure domination for that pristine auction.com number 18.
Oh, right rear's gone. All the way down.
I think that left rear might be gone as well. He's peeled off that right rear.
You won't find many remnants. That carcass is in pieces. Here he comes out of the car again. What a great run by Ty and the team.
Last year it was the glove flop. This year, a little pizzazz there as he sits down on the roof of his machine.
It's a football family, man. They like the end zone dances.
That's right. Absolutely. Look at that rubber. That's a ton of General Tire rubber up there. Gibbs gonna celebrate. Thumbs up to the fans in attendance here tonight. We'll talk to Ty Gibbs and others on the other side of the break He's the winner of the General Tire 150 at Phoenix Raceway in Arizona. The ARCA Menards Series at Phoenix Raceway. This one was a great race. A lot of fun to watch what transpired throughout the General Tire 150. But once again, it's Ty Gibbs in victory lane in the series, and Dave Reef is standing by with him.
Well, guys, I got to tell you, this kid is 18, but he didn't drive like that tonight. But I got to pick on you a little bit. You left your room a mess. You are an 18-year-old. You see that burnout you just did in celebrating that big win?
Yeah, first want to thank, the man above. He's put me here and he's put me in this situation. And, I'm a servant for God, and I'm chained to his faith forever. And I do anything for him, and I can't thank him enough and give him enough glory. He blessed me so much, and I'm so thankful to be in this situation and where I am. Not a lot of kids really get to do what I get to do, and I'm very thankful for that. And I really love driving race cars. And I just want to say thank you to Pristine Auction, Monster Energy. Those guys have supported me so much, especially at this race. This is nice to come and win this one again. We've kind of lost the last two, but it's good to come back and win. And I love Phoenix. Phoenix is a great track. So, but the job's not done yet. We got to go race tomorrow.
Well, you certainly showed. That car, that tire is blown up, and you dominated. That is a fact.
Thank you.
But you have to tell me what the waning moments of that race are like. You're seeing the sprinkles on your windshield. It's going to be nip and tuck getting in here down to one. How were you able to navigate that last lap and hold it all together?
Yeah, that in those moments, God blessed me a lot with my driving ability, and I've got clean tires, and somehow I drove through it. It was raining pretty hard there for a little bit, and once it kind of cleared off, and then we went back to green. So, it was a fun time. I had a blast running here in the ARCA series, and Menards does such a good job with this ARCA Menards series. So this is just awesome.
Hey, take a few pictures, grab
excited.
that trophy, but you got to go clean that stuff up over there. You made a mess over there.
I gotta get a broom. Thank you, guys.
Speaking of brooms, he looked really good at Daytona on the road course in his first Xfinity race. He might sweep this here weekend of his two races, the way he's just so high and excited.
So it's Gibbs over Corey Heim, 1 and 2 in the points right here. Thad Moffitt, great run for him. Best of his ARCA career, a third-place effort. And Kyle Sieg, his second straight top 5 to start the season.
Thad made an outside pass on the last lap to get that third spot, so he's brimming with confidence heading into Talladega as well, and then on to the short tracks after. Derek Krause, hey, give him the right equipment, he'll finish top 5 of the 19. Nice job by Derek. He's got a lot of notes he can build on for coming back here in the Truck Series finale in November.
Drew Dollar holds on for a top 10 run. There's Ty Gibbs celebrating now his victory, his second victory in 4 races here. That's batting 500. That's a pretty good average.
Finished second and third in the other 2. That was horrible. He led most laps. He told us. Talk about the memory. He said, I lost 2 here. Now I won this one the way I should have.
So let's find out the nominations for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. Remember, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., you can vote on the ARCA Racing Twitter. Here it is, your favorite, the save by the 13 of Souza.
Lap 45, Joe East gets into him, and what does Todd Souza, the veteran, do? Hang on, baby, dirt track that thing and got right back in it.
The next 2 will belong to the 18 of Ty Gibbs. This here, 3 wide. I think he passed like 5-6 cars in a single lap. Ty Gibbs, this is another nomination for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. But I can tell you this, I know what I'm voting for, and I think Austin's going to agree with me here. The burnout after the race, also a nomination for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. Austin, are you going to join me and vote for this one?
That was a pretty good burnout. I'll give him that one. That was, we talk about how he's come here and he's had a chance to win every single race, and I think that burnout was clarity enough that that one meant a lot to him to come back and won with the dominant car.
And especially, look at that. Pulling off, the car's moving, he's standing on the door. Remember, go to the ARCA Racing Twitter tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to vote for the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. Those were the 3 nominations. Jim, what do you think?
We had a long discussion, and I want to say Todd Souza was safe because he ended up finishing 8th on the lead lap. That's his best finish here at Phoenix. I think it's a great start for him in the ARCA Menards Series West. That's certainly worth a nomination as well. You get to vote, fans. Tell us who you think the Reese's Sweet Move of the race belongs to.
It was a lot of fun. This broadcast was fun, and it was fun in part because we had Austin Cindric with us as well. Now a different perspective for you here at Phoenix. Thanks for joining the broadcast.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. Definitely learned a few things for tomorrow, and not as much as this guy did. So it'll be fun to see how he does tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be a factor. Those Joe Gibbs Racing cars are really fast, and I'm excited to get the weekend started. It's a great way to get a race weekend started here, get some fans in Phoenix Raceway, and have a blast.
Well, good luck. We'll be rooting for you tomorrow here at Phoenix.
Thank you.
Ty Gibbs, the winner. Corey Heim, second. Thad Moffitt in third. His best career run in the ARCA Menards Series. We'll be right back here to Phoenix Raceway in Arizona.
The ARCA Menards Series is brought to you by
Auto Park It. The future of parking is here. See it at autoparkit.com. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry.
And by Lucas Oil. Keep that engine alive.
Race number 2 for the ARCA Menards Series now in the books. You see that O'Reilly Auto Parts big sign there.
That's the O'Reilly Crescent, Bob.
That's right. It's big.
Yeah.
One of the biggest sponsorships I've ever seen. And by the way, you can get your Lucas Oil products at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. There's the winning sticker going on Ty Gibbs' car, his first of 2021. And I think we're going to see a lot more, including maybe, who knows, he can get redemption on the Super Speedway, the next race for the ARCA Menards Series on Saturday, April 24th with the General Tire 200 at Talladega, Alabama.
His first race at Talladega because he's now old enough to race there at age 18.
There's the rain, by the way. A little sprinkling going on. We're pumped up because we get back to the short tracks. Yes, the bull rings at Toledo Speedway in Ohio. The next race on May 22nd.
Looking forward to it. A lot of these stars will be showing up on a short track on MAV TV Live. I can't wait.
It was a lot of fun to watch all the racing action tonight. So for Austin Cindric, Dave Reef, Jim Trado, and everybody at Lucas Oil Production Studios, I'm Bob Dillner saying thank you so much for watching on MAV TV, and congratulations to the Dominator, Ty Gibbs, on the win.